Habits of power. 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 Habits of power.
Open your mind.
The prophet of thought. The prophet of thought. You know. You know. The prophet of thought. The prophet of thought. Open your mind. 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 Open your mind.
Peace, folks, and welcome back to another edition of the Popular Thought Series right here on the old T.P.O.T. YouTube page. I'm your host, X, of course, but you knew that already. That's why you are here. Tonight, got a good show for y'all tonight. Got my man BlackRam313. He needs no introduction. Right here on the old.
Habits of power. Habits of power.
Yeah.
Habits of
But
power.
before we get started, like always, I have to thank my subscribers, my donors, my contributors, for always. I mean, y'all look out for me so much, man. You know, y'all donate to this channel, man. It's crazy. Because like I always say, you don't have to donate your hard-earned coins, but you choose to do so. And I'm very grateful for that. But it's not just your coins that make you a supporter of this here platform. If you watch these videos, if you subscribe to this channel, if you share these videos, if you contribute in the chat, if you write in the comment section, all that, you show up here every damn week, I consider you a supporter of this platform. Like I always say, T.P.O.T isn't this big, gigantic platform, but the people here have big minds and big hearts, and y'all keep this thing going, man. And like I always say, I'm humbled, I'm honored, I'm appreciative, and I thank all of you for supporting this platform, man. You know, I always start to show off with this, and I know y'all probably think it sounds kind of sappy, but y'all know, because y'all been following X for a long time, y'all know that X don't say this stuff to kiss your butts. because that's not what X does. X does this because he means it. And I appreciate all of you, man. And I mean all of you, So I thank you. All right. All right. So let's get at it. Like I said, tonight, I'm going to have my man BlackRam313 up here tonight, and we will be discussing the package deal. I think everybody knows who Brother BlackRam is. If you don't, he has coined this phrase.
This is therapeutic, man.
Yeah. So, Brother BlackRam should be coming through momentarily, and we're gonna chop it up, man. So, hold your horses, man, and get ready for some therapeutic nuggets tonight, man, with my man BlackRam313. Some programming notes. Tomorrow we're going to have Babatunde Umana up here tomorrow. He's the author of Negro Wars, and I believe he is the owner of the website Slaying Evil. He gonna come in here hardcore tomorrow, because tomorrow we're going to be talking about the brutalization of black babies. It's gonna be a deep topic. It's gonna be a rough topic, and a lot of the stuff we talk about is probably gonna be hard for folks to hear. But I feel like it's a necessary thing. We need to talk about it. I've talked about it before, so we're gonna talk about it tomorrow with Babatunde Umana. We're gonna go ahead and get down with the get down tomorrow. But the guest of honor is here right now. What the hell? So I can get my damn mouse right. BlackRam3. What's good, man?
Always good to see you, dear brother.
Oh yeah, man. Brother Ram, it's been a while, man, since we chopped it up, man. And I've been watching a lot of your stuff, man, and I've been listening to it, in my shop. I have it playing on the speaker system and shit. So
yeah, live in stereo.
Yeah, brother. And the brothers, because I got a few brothers that work for me, and they be in there too, and they be listening to it. They're like, "Yo, man, who this BlackRam brother?" I said, "That's my people. That's my people right there, man." Yeah, I play it. I play that YouTube shit on the speaker system, man. They ain't got no choice. They ain't got no choice but to hear that therapeutic shit, man. They got no choice.
That therapy, huh?
Man. So what's been good with you, man? Before we get into this.
Oh man, just life, man. It's taking it one day at a time, dear brother. Life has its ups and downs. You know what I mean. But just trying to maintain my sanity in the hells of North America, brother. You know how it go.
Okay. Well, the reason why I wanted to talk about this package deal, because I got this theme going, this week, because those of you who watch Brother ODJ, they know I was the lead off this Sunday, and we were talking about slipped my mind, goddamn it. Oh, we were talking about mothers, and we were talking about whether or not black men hate their mothers. So I'm keeping that theme of this mama shit going on this week. Like tonight, I got you. We're gonna be talking about the quote unquote package deal. And tomorrow with Babatunde Umana, we're going to be talking about the brutalization of black children by black women. So we kind of keeping that theme this week. Let me ask you, man. I know that you've heard it, because I know you're probably a man about town. You get around. And I know that you've heard this whole package deal thing, where you've heard a woman say, well, this is a package deal. When you hear that, what do you think? What do you think when you hear that from a woman when she's saying package deal? Can't hear you, Ram.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, when she say the package deal, she's saying accept me and accept my kids, love me and love my kids, date me and date my kids, not in no pedo way, but be into me and be into my children as well. Basically, she's saying she's looking for a father for her children and a husband for herself. The package deal is one deal in which most brothers, I think, are willing to go for, but there are some who value themselves above stuff like that. I've heard that saying my whole life. Um, if a man gonna get with me, he gotta accept my kids and gotta do this. Listen, brother, because I had this coworker, and her and I were talking, and she mentioned that her live-in boyfriend also had children, just like she had children. And she told me in no uncertain terms that her boyfriend has to put her children before his own children. And you would think no guy would go for that, but sorry to say that this guy went for it, and a lot of guys go for that. How many guys do you know don't take care of their own children, but take care of the children that live in the household with them instead? How many
Right.
guys neglect their own children to take care of another man's children and a woman's children? So that package deal, man, with us in these urban communities, the melanated folk, that always has been a big thing for us. It's completely dysfunctional, but we've normalized it to now it's part of the culture. In fact, it's quite odd nowadays to see one man, one woman together with biological children and no outside children, no other children. It's kind of rare nowadays because our society and our community is just that dysfunctional. And when she says, take this package deal, she's saying, accept me with all my problems and all my dysfunction, all my bad decision making, um, as well as all this responsibility, um, along with her and herself, So it's asking for a lot.
Hmm. And also all these reminders of the dudes that I screwed. Um, but this is the thing. This is what gets me. Because when I was a young guy, okay, full disclosure, y'all, because I believe in full disclosure. When I was a young guy, I found myself caught up, with a baby mama. She had a couple kids and shit. And you know, I wasn't thinking because she was fine. I wasn't thinking. And, after a while, it start to set in that I wasn't being courted. That's why I always say that. I wasn't being courted. I was being adopted
Mm.
because you sort of like become one of the children. Like, because you're like your second fiddle. Okay. You're always going to be second fiddle. All right. You're never going to be in a position where, you're like, you have somewhat authority. Okay. Your authority over her, we know with most women, is that much anyway. So you're never going to have any authority over the children, no matter how much you do, no matter how much you coalesce. And for you to discipline the child is a non-starter. I mean, that's a straight non-starter. You're not going to be able to discipline the children. I know I went through this shit when I was a young guy. Okay, I was a young guy. So I just think it's a bad decision to take on the package deal because we often hear this talk, man, and it pisses me off. Okay, excuse me, it pisses me off, and I'm a married man. All right, married, children, all that shit, right? But I hear people say they always talk about the community, the Black community. This is what you hear, right? And they're always telling men this. So that leads me to believe that the community is just women and their kids because it's like you men need to be fixing the community. So when I hear that, I'm like, well, what the hell are we? Chopped liver? We're not part of said community. And it's almost as if you're not being there for these women and their children, you are not thinking about the community because see, you're not part of the community. You're the person who's supposed to be building the community. It's like you're a carpenter building a house. You're going to build the house. You're not going to live in it. So, I mean, that's my problem with that whole, you guys don't think about the community shit. And it's like, wait a minute. When you got these women with all these children and multiple baby fathers, you trying to tell me that they were thinking about the community?
Exactly.
So, I mean, don't get me wrong, because the children are innocent. All right. The children are innocent, has nothing to do with the kids. It's the focus is on the women. I think that we live in a time now where we are supposed to not only overlook the bad decisions of women, we're supposed to overlook how much she got out there and slung old funk box around.
Mm-hmm.
We're supposed to overlook whatever conditions or situations that she has put herself in those children in, come in there after overlooking all of that, and beyond overlooking it, go ahead and take it all up and take it all up under our wings, because that's what black men are supposed to do, and I call bullshit on that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, brother X. One thing I do agree with the women on, when you get your simp in the house, or your man in the house, or your the man that you decide to become stepfather, and she says, don't hit my kids, I actually agree with that. Here's the thing. If a man acts like a B, I'm not going to say the whole word, but it ends in an H, then he should be treated like one.
Yeah.
So you're not supposed to get authority and respect in a situation that's not respectable. So when she says don't hit my kids, what she's really saying is you're not their father, and the real father, no matter where he may be, is still the authority in this house, because it's biological in nature. And this is why it's so dysfunctional and so antithetical to who you are as a man. If you are a man who values himself as a man, for you to be in a situation like that. So I have a different look. And as I stated many times before, I'm not a Western minded person. So my actual thought process is different. So let me give you an example. Even if the man is deceased, but we're not going to go with deceased men because there are a lot of fathers that are alive. But let's just go with the proverbial deadbeat dad. Although it's been proven to be a myth, because it has been shown statistically that black men are more active as parents than any other group of men. But let's go with the current ideology, the mythos of the deadbeat dad, the no good daddy or no good baby daddy, who may be locked up or on drugs or whatever. In my mind, the female is second. She's second, always second to that of the male. Whether the male is in the house or not, those are his children first before they're her children. They're his seed. She doesn't have a seed. She's a carrier of the seed. You don't plant an apple tree and call it a dirt tree. You plant the tree in the dirt, but it's still whatever tree that is. And just what kids are, they're products of their fathers. The mother's just a carrier. So with that Eastern mindset that I have, with that patriarchal mindset that I have, with that dominant male mindset that I have, those children are another man's. So when I talk to people about this, and even on my channel, I always say those are his kids, because they are. Those are primarily his children. So when a man comes in and I'm trying to keep it PG, cuckoldry situation, that is a situation that no one could respect. And that whole idea of cuckoldry comes from the cuckoo bird. This is actually scientific for those who may not have heard of it. It's the idea or the scientific discovery and observation that this cuckoo bird, or this particular bird, what this bird would do is, when the mother leaves the nest to go find food for the eggs or for the hatchlings, or at least while they're eggs, what the other bird would do would come and drop those eggs, killing those offspring and putting their offspring so another bird can take care of their responsibility. And it's called cuckoo for a reason, cuckoldry, dodo. That's why we use all these words, because in antiquity, in times past, even in the West, it was considered a dishonorable thing for a female to have children out of wedlock, number one. And number two, for someone to take care of another man's children. That was always considered immoral and distasteful. But now our culture has sensationalized it and normalized it to where even in movies and television shows, you see this concept. And of course, we have a community that is ruled by the female. We live in a matriarchy, a makeshift matriarchy. So we are in a matriarchy inside of a falling larger society that is patriarchal, that's starting to become more matriarchal. So I believe that the so-called Black community was the testing ground for all things socially engineered, whether that was socially engineered disease, um, syphilis. We know the history of that with those experiments. Social engineering, feminism, because we know that feminism hit the Black community the hardest, although it was the European woman who championed it. And if you go back, it may be conspiracy for some, but there was an old video footage of a director who's passed away named Anne Rousseau, who said he was close to one of the Rockefellers, and they actually engineered the whole idea of feminism and single mother households in order to disrupt. So the Black community is a testing ground for all things dysfunctional. It's a testing ground to where society is headed. Let's experiment in this community first before we go ahead and make this thing either a national phenomenon, in some cases a global phenomenon. So since we're normalizing the dysfunction, the whole culture is starting to normalize this dysfunction. And there are only a few voices out here who says men should value themselves above that. In relationship, the man should be primary. When a guy says, I want to be a stepfather and I want to take my resources to support this dysfunctional woman, a woman who's shown a history of bad decision making, not waiting until the confines of marriage. And I really mean confines because it's confining. But this is a Christian nation. No matter how I feel about marriage, Brother X, no matter how other guys may feel about it, in this nation that we live in, the norm or the ideal is for a man and woman to get under a legal umbrella of marriage and then have children. And this same cultural idea that's not as promoted as it used to be, this cultural idea is something that the Black female says she doesn't want to have anything to do with it, but at the same time claiming to be Christian and claiming to be American and absorbing the fruits of a Christian America. So we see it's hypocrisy on every level. I find it very interesting about male nature is that we are always the ones who feel we need to serve everyone else. And this service is expected. And for many, they believe your service to another is the value of a man. And with my channel, I want to go against that notion. But back to you, Brother X. Can you hear me, Brother X? Oh, you muted. So I guess you got to unmute your mic, Brother X.
God damn.
Okay.
Damn host. The host got his damn mic muted. When you talk about this package deal stuff, right? Mm-hmm. What you're basically saying is, okay, you get with me. I couldn't make a family, with these other dude and or dudes that I had kids by. So I need you to come in, and now we gonna be a family. That's what it is. If you cut through the chase, that's what she's saying. She's saying, okay, I got these kids. Couldn't make a family with these other dudes, but you coming in, I'm gonna make a family with you, even though I don't have any kids with you. And to me, I think that a lot of brothers who find themselves in that predicament, because I'll just use myself for an example. When I was young, when I was a younger guy, I think I just had low self-esteem. That's why I was willing to be around a woman who had a couple kids. I think it's a self-esteem thing. I think many of us as Black men, we have this low self-esteem, man. We have, people say it's low standards. I think it's part of that too. But I think our self-esteem is so low that we're willing to settle. Because let's be clear, if you with these baby mamas, you're settling. I mean, I know people won't like that, but if you got some woman, man, she got 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 kids, and man, you with her, man, you're settling, man. And if you're settling, that definitely is a self-esteem problem. That's a self-esteem problem. The package deal is for men with self-esteem problems. That's what I believe. Because I damn sure thought because I was like maybe 19, 20, Yeah, I was like maybe 19, 20. So I felt like I must have had self-esteem problems. Now, of course, I broke out of that shit. You know, eventually I was like, hey, this ain't it. But during that time, I really think I had a self-esteem problem. That's why I was willing to settle with a woman that had a couple kids, just because I like the way that skirt fit, that kind of shit. And I think we as black men, man, we get caught up in that shit because we're conditioned to overlook everything. All right. We're conditioned to forgive everything. We're conditioned to look at shit and say, well, this ain't a big deal. She got 3 kids. That ain't a big deal. She got 4 kids. That ain't a big deal. She ran and ripped and did all this bullshit. That's not a big deal. And I think that we need to break out of that conditioning, And like I said, I'm a brother that's married. But if I was a younger guy in these days and times, like 25 years old in 2019, man, I wouldn't be caught dead around one of these old baby mamas. I don't care what she looked like, because that is an indicator of low self-esteem.
It is. It is. What men have lost their masculinity, particularly the black man. We see ourselves as a woman's servant, one to serve instead of one who should be served. What I talk about all the time, and I try to talk about this maybe once or twice a year, whether it's a live stream or a standalone video, talk about single motherhood, because I think single motherhood is probably the biggest reason why the black community is the way it is. Of course, white supremacy plays a role and a factor, but our particular dysfunction is in mass, or I can say the majority of our dysfunction can be traced to single motherhood. What men have a problem with is being a masculine man. What men have a problem with is being served. My thing is this: a woman is supposed to be part of your team. She's supposed to be part of your staff, part of your business. Your wife is supposed to be your helper. As I said in my last live stream, you are not a woman's helpmeet. How can she, as a woman, be about your business and simultaneously be about the business of another man? You can't serve 2 masters. Her child, which is a direct biological offshoot, an offspring of the man that she was with, her purpose in life, every fiber of her being, she carried this child in the womb 9 months, feed, clothe, shelter this child, only to promote that man's legacy. Remember, I said that the children belong to the male primarily. So her whole life essence is one in which goes to the support of that man's offspring, her whole life's purpose. This is what she's born for and what she's created for. So anything for that offspring is dedicated to that man, whether he be alive or dead. And any man coming in contact with that, any man coming in conflict with that, is disrespectful, not just to that man, but to himself, because that's that man's genetic legacy. I guess many of us do not feel as if we deserve our own genetic legacy. Now, for me, Brother X, this goes deeper than most cats. I understand the world we live in, and most women are trashy. There are some exceptions. But my thing is, once a woman has carried the DNA of another, whether she had an abortion, whether she had the child, whether she was on birth control and didn't even make conception, that woman is defiled forever. We understand microchimerism. We understand that the DNA of a said male stays with a woman for a lifetime. They did a study on a cadaver, a woman that had been dead for quite some time, and they found in her cellular structure, in the brain, in the spine, they found DNA of multiple men. This woman had no children, because at first the idea was that the DNA of male children remained with the woman, but this was not so. It is possible that she never even conceived. I don't think they had that medical record, but the point is that the man or the men that woman laid down with was her even in death. Now, I understand the world we live in, that we really are hard pressed and it's almost impossible to find a virgin. But the point that the female has children by another man and has been with other men, this goes down and affects her deep on a cellular level. And this is why for years in many ancient cultures, men would only marry virgins. And it was considered a crime if a man thought the female was a virgin and she was not a virgin, especially in Middle Eastern and Hebraic cultures, as well as Islamic cultures. Her being a virgin was pretty much her value. Now we fell so far back. Not only do we accept whoredom, women that's been with multiple men, but we accept the offspring of those multiple men. And this is a testimony and a testament to the black man, to how far the black man has fallen, to the lack of self-respect and self-esteem of the black man. Again, it wasn't more than 40 or 50 years ago when the idea of a man having to wife up a woman with a child was not only uncommon, but disgraceful. I remember a time, Brother X, although I was a very young man, when you would hear stories that if a woman got pregnant out of wedlock, that they would take that woman, especially if she was from the north, and go hide her in the south somewhere.
Yeah, they bring it down here.
Absolutely. Because it was a disgrace. It was something to be ashamed of and something to be hidden. But we've come from that to actually having baby showers and promoting it and saying it's a good thing. And a lot of talk that I hear nowadays is that, especially with the black female, she talks about having children without talking about having a husband. So this is deep into the culture. So when we look at the 50-year history of this, single motherhood, the female especially raising boys that are effeminate, boys that are impulsive. And I'm not saying they switching at the hip. Their femininity of these young boys comes in way of their attitude, their aggression, their impulsiveness, their lack of discipline and self-control, their lack of structure. As you know, Brother X, I believe you have boys. After 3 or 4 years old, I would say maybe as early as 5. That boy should not be nurtured. That boy should not be mothered. That boy needs to be disciplined.
Absolutely.
This is how you love a little boy. You don't love a little boy by kisses and hugs and pat him on his back. You give him discipline and structure at an early age so that it can be down inside of his spirit. Men turn boys into men. A woman cannot do it no matter how hard she tries, no matter how wise she claims she is, because there's something about that DNA, that male voice, that male spirit, that only a male can really make a boy into a man. And without that, there's something permanently lost. And we see that today with male YouTubers, men that we walk past on the street. They have this effeminate and female attitude. They use the same female talking points. They have the same feminine and feminist spirit. They are essentially their mothers. And then the funny part is, for most of the last 50 years, the black female has screamed about being strong and independent, being able to do it by herself. She don't need no man, not even to raise her children. And then the result of all of this is Pookie Ray Ray Thuggo, effeminate men. Men are not leaders, men are not fathers. And then she's going to complain, Brother X, and say, we're the real men. And the answer is, there are no real men, because it was you all who raised them to be dysfunctional men, to be feminine men. And remember, we used to hear this rhetoric for the last 20 or 30 years, Brother X, how a man need to be more in touch with his feminine side and more in touch with his feelings and all this other thing. So the chickens have come home to roost, Brother X. So now you have dysfunctional men, and women are claiming, who are just as dysfunctional, by the way, are claiming where all the good men are at. Well, they are the products of single mothers. Or even if, Brother X, the father is present a lot of the time, he's effeminate and weak himself. So again, I believe the biggest issue with the black community is single motherhood and promiscuity. Back to you, Brother X.
Yeah, I mean, I believe this is just me, and I know I'll probably get some hate mail over this shit, but of course I don't care. But of course I don't care, Black Ram. Um, I believe that there's a method to this madness.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe this is just happenstance. I don't think it's inadvertent. What I believe with a lot of these women, I believe that a lot of them, they have these children because they put up the front, like, because once they get to be like 35, 36, that's when they get interested in a husband. They're not interested in a husband any time before that. But once they get to be 35, 36, 37, now they talk about husbands now that they're 6, 7 babies in, which is freaking impossible, but we'll get to that later. Now, once they're 5, 6, 7 babies in, I think it is a conscious effort to have all of these children. And I'm going to tell you why. Because once they get to be a certain age, despite of what they're saying, because we know women say a lot of shit, okay? 99% of the shit they say, I don't even think they really mean. They're just talking. They say they're looking for a husband. They say they're independent. They say they take care of their kids. But I think this conscious effort, deliberate effort to have these children is a way to keep from being alone in latter years.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Because they know once they're 35, 36, ain't nobody marrying your black ass, especially if you're 6. Let's be real, especially if you're 6 or 7 babies in. It's over.
Mm-hmm.
So the children are like an insurance policy that insures her from being alone when she's 50, when she's 60. Because a lot of these chicks, they're becoming baby mamas at 34, 35, 36.
Mm-hmm.
So you get to be 50 something years old, almost 60 years old, you still got an 18-year-old in the house or a 17-year-old in the house. And I think that conscious effort to bring these kids forward is to keep not only from being alone in latter years, but also, especially with sons, to have a male in the house, not just to have a male in the house, but have a male in the house to control.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's what I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. And the most loneliest creature in my vast experience of dealing with women over the years, the loneliest creature in the world is that female whose children are headed to college, man. Once those children are out the house, the average female loses her mind. They call it empty nest syndrome, but in the black community, everything is worse. If heart disease is an American phenomenon, but for black folks is worse. HIV is an American phenomenon, but for black folks is worse. Whatever it is that's dysfunctional, whatever it is that's diseased, whatever it is that's wrong, it's always worse with us. So the single black female, once she gets in her late 30s, early 40s, and those children are gone, she's the most lonely person in the world. And I've seen women with all of these so-called standards go and literally find them a bum on the street just to be in the house with them. And it used to be laughable to me, but now it's sad to see such a thing, because these women really do get lonely and desperate because they think that they're going to have it their way forever. But what they don't realize, and they should see this coming up, but older women are ignored because they have no more sex appeal. Once somebody start calling you miss, it's pretty much over with. But they spent their whole lives being single for one main reason, because you talked about this earlier, to wait till they 36 and 7 babies deep. They remain single their whole lives because, believe it or not, and we like to think that women are monogamous and centered on one relationship partner. But what women practice is a sort of what they call serial monogamy. Not that they necessarily polyandrous, but we do have a lot of women that deal with multiple men at one time, but they're serial monogamous. So they actually want the experiences of dealing with different men over and over again. This is why the average black woman with a child has two of them by two guys on average. And what we see from this is that she doesn't have the desire to stick with just one man. And part of the reason is because although the black male cannot control his household, what he can do, because he's, remember, the black male is completely feminized. So although he can't control that black woman, even if he lives with her, he's still going to hold her accountable by nagging. Give you an example. He's not going to say, girl, you ain't going out in that dress. No, you can't go out with your, he's not going to do those things. The black male can't do that. He doesn't have that type of strength and that type of energy. He'll hunt me and you down, but he's not going to stand up to his woman. But what he will do is he'll whine and he'll nag. Baby, why you come in the house so late? Who you was with and who you on the phone? He going to whine and nag. So she wants to be single in her early 30s and all throughout her 20s because she doesn't want to hear Keon nag all day. Because remember, in our community, Brother X, the roles are reversed. The female is the one who is sowing her wild oats, although she doesn't have oats to sow. And it's the man who wants to play house. It's the guy who wants to be on the inside playing his PlayStation, waiting for his woman to get home from work so he can get some loving. Or the thuggo who is going to hang out with his friends on the corner all day until his woman get home and be controlled by her. So things are reversed. So the male nowadays is actually the female, and the female is actually the male. And you hear this, you know, you ever heard a woman say, well, I F this guy and I F that guy? Well, you don't have the equipment to F anyone, sweetheart. But that's how she talks, though, because in her mind, in her heart of hearts, the society has convinced her that she's a boy. So she acts like a boy. It used to be a time when you would never hear a woman say something like this, her side guy. Not only was this morally wrong 10, 20, 30 years ago, if she was in an affair, it was something to be hidden and something to be ashamed of. Now, Brother X, it's something to be proud of. Now you have men talking about being side men and side dudes and actually enjoying it, actually acting as if it's a benefit that you are the second guy in this woman's life. And our culture is completely backwards. So when I say that men shouldn't be stepdads, I get a whole lot of backlash, because our culture is backwards. We want to normalize the dysfunction. We want to take something that's wrong and make it right. And then we even go even further and try to make it virtuous, Brother X. And that's what really gets it. It's the virtue in the African American community, so-called, to have a man step up and play stepdad and be that child, that woman's helpmeet, and be on the team of that child's father. We actually take pride in this and look at it as a virtue. This is how far we've fallen. So we go from it being shameful and uncommon and wrong to not being shameful to it actually being a virtue and promoted. So we've come a long way. We've de-evolved. Well, there's a degeneration in our culture. So when someone comes and say, no, we need to go back to the old way. We need to look toward the East instead of the West. We need to get out of these Romanized and Eurocentric ideologies and mind frame and mindset. Then you're demonized. Go back to you, Brother X.
Well, I mean, I can't even argue with that, Brother BlackRam, because you've heard the stories. You ain't a real man if you don't get with a woman who got babies. Only a real man can be with a woman. Only a real man can be with a baby mama. We can go all night and give you a litany of all these sayings, because what I believe is we as a people, maybe not all of us, but way too many of us, we believe that no matter what, women and children should be coddled, taken care of. No matter how irresponsible the mama is, no matter how many baby daddies she got, like I said before, we're supposed to gloss over all this other stuff, all this negative stuff, And see, we're supposed to see the good side of everything. We're supposed to see the good side of this irresponsible ass woman. We're supposed to see the good side of her old used up funk box. We're supposed to see the good side of having her damn kids around. Like, you know, that's why when people talk this, well, you guys, because I get the shit too. Yeah, oh God, you guys always saying all this stuff, man. Y'all need to be uplifting the community and doing all this bullshit. But I say again, what, we are not part of the community? What are we? What are we, chopped liver? What are we, these freaking these robots that you push a button and activate and come in and save all these people who have made bad decisions, people who have ruined their goddamn life, okay? People who have ruined these children's lives in many cases. Because make no mistake, a lot of these baby mamas, they ruin these children's lives too. They haven't just ruined theirs, they ruined the children's lives. So now all these great men and all these strong men and all these intelligent thinking men are supposed to swoop in and make it all better, make it all right, make it a family, okay? Something she wasn't interested in doing when she was out there slanging it. She wasn't interested in family. You can't tell me that a woman who got 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 baby daddies was interested in a family. But see, in Black society, that has become the family.
Yes.
When you think family, people ain't thinking man, wife, husband, wife, children. They thinking hoes and kids. That's what they think. I mean, because for the most part, and all you got to do is scan through social media a little bit, you'll see that men are expendable, disposable, usable, okay? Like I said, we're just supposed to be activated when needed. You come in, you bring your resources, you take care of me, and do what these kids' fathers aren't doing, which is take care of them and shut up. Yeah, just shut up, like it, and do it until they're grown. And when they grow up, even if they don't appreciate it, so what? This is what a real man does. Because the whole thing has been bastardized. And I'll go as far as saying this before I throw it back to you, Brother Graham. Me personally, a woman who has children and is willing to let a dude just move on in, that has a lot to say about her, man. If she's the fact that she's willing to let you move in there on top of her children, forget what that says about you. What it says about you is you got low self-esteem and you're stupid and you feel like you can't do no better. But what does it say about her?
Yeah.
What does it say about her that she's so desperate for a man? She's so desperate to try to put together this bastardized Brady Bunch, if you will, that she's willing to bring you a stranger, have you live with her children. Not know, man, I know women, I have known women in my life and know them today, unfortunately, that they will meet a man in a month. And guess what? In a month, he's moving in. And these chicks got 3 and 4 and 5. And it's like, what does that say about you? But see, we already know what kind of people these women are. That's why they got 4 and 5 baby daddies in the first place. Because probably every man they met, they let him move on in. Let him move on in. So my contention is this, and people ain't gonna like this. I say, let them hoes hang, brothers. Let them hang. Because see, you get with one of these women, right? And say you stay there 10, 15 years, okay? Hypothetically, helping her raise her little kids, her 4 and 5 and 6 kids. When they grow up, man, they're not going to appreciate it. They're not. You know why they're not? Because her black ass ain't gonna appreciate it. She's not gonna sit you down and say, "Hey, look, man, you stayed here and looked out for me and my kids, and you helped me raise them. Thank you." That's not coming.
Mm-hmm. Not at all.
It's not coming.
Not at all.
It's not. She's not gonna look back on that shit, man, and appreciate it and thank you for it because she feels like she was entitled to that. She was entitled to you raising her damn kids. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because she dangling that old used up 6'7" baby having funk box in front of you. So she's entitled for you to take care of her kids. She's entitled for you to pay for something that other brothers got for free.
Yep. I have a video just on that, paying for what others have gotten for free. And I say never pay for what another man has gotten for free. She wants commitment from you, but didn't require commitment from none of those other guys that she laid with, the one night stands, the friends with benefits situation, this boyfriend, that boyfriend. But all of a sudden, a guy has to marry her, come in, pay her bills, and help her with her children. And any man taking that deal, and you coming in when she has the least value, when she's older, when she is not as pretty as she once was, and her body isn't what it once was because she now has children. But men continually want that. There's another myth and misconception. I think that actually black men desperately want to be married. Black men desperately want families, even if it's a dysfunctional and broken family. Black men are seeking and desiring to be wanted, to be needed, to feel a part of something. It's a lonely world being a black man. So our self-esteem is so low. And not only is our self-esteem so low, we're so broken that we'll put ourselves in any situation just to say we're in one. Men think, people think, the society thinks that the woman is the one that's the lover, the romantic one, the one that wants family. I say no. I say no, it's the black man that wants that. We know for a fact, statistically speaking, that there are more black men married than black women are married. Black men desperately want families, desperately want children, more so than the black female. So when a man comes to a situation that's, for me, alarm bells go off. I've always been this way. So whenever I was around another man's children, I always felt off about it. It always felt weird. It always felt foreign, right? And not only did it feel foreign and weird, it was something that I could never adapt in my mind. And I always felt that woman still belonged to that man that she has those children by, or that child by. And I never felt anything different. Now, when a kid gets grown and out the house, maybe a little bit different, but that child will always be connected to that father and to that mother, and that mother will always be connected to that father. And when you think of the idea of a wife should be someone that has never been pregnant by somebody else, never had children from nobody else, and actually never been with somebody else. And when you have this, we have things like high divorce rate, infidelity, because of all the former promiscuity that this woman has been involved in. And people just don't get it, Brother X. This female has destroyed and is destroying everything with her womb, destroying it all. And now the community's in ruins and they want you to fix it, Brother X. They want you to go on down now, Brother X. Talk to Pookie, Thuggo, Ray Ray Nim, get them off them corners, do something with them. Go and talk to the 14-year-old guy who has what they call in Chicago the 30 popper or the 50 popper, which means he has a automatic weapon or semi-automatic weapon with a large magazine, but they call them clips when they actually are magazines. So you're supposed to go and talk to 17-year-old, 16-year-old Thuggo and talk to him to get that 30 popper out of his hand because you are expendable, because your life should be used, Brother X, my life, Cortez life, Supreme King Coon's life, Dollar Will's life should be used to sacrifice for and to clean up the mess that the black female has made. Not change her mess, Not one time do these people scream about clean up their mess themselves or preventing the mess in the communities. They just want you to clean it up. Why? So they can keep making a mess. No accountability, no responsibility. So that's where we at with it, man. And a lot of people are upset, Brother X, because men are starting to slowly but surely wake up and say, you know what? I wonder, is it different in Germany? I wonder if it's different in Japan. I wonder when it comes to finding a wife, can I go over to Thailand, Cambodia, Malaysia? Can I go to one of these other countries and get married? Let me see what it's like in the Philippines. And then they get there and they find a whole new world. Today I was at the barbershop, Brother X, and a guy that I know of grew up on the same street that I did. I said, man, brother, where you been? I said, oh, yeah, that's what I forgot you were in Australia. The guy left the United States of America 10 years ago. Originally, he was supposed to go to Australia for a month. He ended up staying there 10 years plus, and he's still there with no intent on coming back to the shores of North America except to visit. And I asked him what made everything so great. He said, well, in Australia, these women love black men. He don't feel the disrespect. The overall energy and vibe of people is just great. He said it's an overall energy to it where he doesn't feel pressured. He doesn't feel scrutinized. He doesn't feel like an outcast. Now think about this, Brother X. In America, where not only he was born, granddaddy, daddy, grandpa, great granddaddy, grandma, great grandmama, generations live here. He feels more like an outcast here than he does in another country. And then he said the women treat him with the utmost respect. In fact, he has a child over there. He has a woman over there, Australian woman. And he wouldn't have that family in that situation over here because it's much too dysfunctional, way too dysfunctional. So guys are starting to see that, wow, maybe I can do something different. And what this guy told me, he said he went to Australia with just $1,500 in his pocket. And him and his lady just got their house built from the ground up. It was just finished. He couldn't do those things in Chicago. And I asked him about that. I said, hey, Chicago, He said, no, man, he couldn't do that over here. I mean, this guy come from the same community I come from, same streets, having a house built in Australia, telling me that, he's seen the world now. He's been to Turkey. He's been to Thailand. He's been to Germany. He's been all over the world just by moving to Australia. Opportunities that came to him by leaving. So what brothers are doing is say, you know what? The black female doesn't respect me. She can't stand me. She think I'm her servant. United States of America look at me as adversarial. So why not leave? And it's starting to spread slowly but surely. But mark my words, whether I'm here on this physical plane still or not, the next 5, 10, 15 years, more and more men are going to say, you know what? I value myself as a man. I've sacrificed. I've delayed my gratification. I've worked hard. I realize that I deserve much better than the United States of America has to offer as far as jobs, as far as respect, and as far as the women are concerned. And I'm either going to go to these other countries just to date and have fun, or I'm going to go and get married in these other countries. And guys are starting to do that in mass. Now, this is something that the Europeans have been doing all over the world. Here's a secret that a lot of people don't realize. A lot of the times, our European counterparts here in America, as well as parts of Europe, particularly the UK, what happens is because this country has become more and more adversarial to them, they attempt to raise families here because it's the American thing to do, right? It's the American way. A lot of these men are in law enforcement, they're firefighters, they're nurses, even doctors and lawyers and other professions, all walks of life. What happens to them, now this is in mass, and I'm going to explain it to you in a minute. What happens is they get married, they get a divorce, their wife send them through the ring and walk away with all of their wealth. And by the time these men get 55 and 60, they're like, wow, I'm about to retire. All these things has happened to me. I'm going to get out of here. There's a large population of men, European men in particular, who are scattered all throughout South America. retirees, expats all across Asia, all across Central Asia, Northeast Asia, Southeast Asia, all across Eastern and Western Europe. These men are leaving this Western world and this Western society and going to places where they start over. And they may not necessarily be starting families, but they decide to go and take their pension and take their retirement funds and take their savings and live abroad. And this is starting to catch fire because the health insurance is too high over here. The housing cost is too high here. So your pension, your retirement, your investments go so much further. And then the women are better. So here's the thing, Brother X. Let's be honest, man. We men, we going to push. We're going to make that dollar. But after we get our money right, the next thing we want is that vag. And we want some good ones, or at least a good one, because men are unselfish creatures. I know the game has gone for so long. Men are so selfish and women are so giving. No, no, no. I'm here to tell you that it's men that love to sacrifice themselves for the greater good of someone else, for the happiness and benefit of someone else. But when that goes unappreciated, when that goes overlooked, men are saying, no, no, no. I'm going to do something else. I'm going to go to these other countries and I'm going to look for love elsewhere. And another misnomer, Brother X, everybody think of it, it's all about sex. I'm in touch with who I am as a man, and I understand other men. What is being perpetuated over and over again for centuries as a lie is that men think sex first, and that's not true. And I know a lot of us guys, we think we tough and we think it's all about the vag, but most of our guys and most of these guys and most of us, we just want to be loved. And nobody is saying that. But I'm here today to say, hey, men are looking for love. And if you can't find that in America, men are going to go somewhere else. Think about it. All your hard work, all your sacrifice, all the hours you spend at the office, all the hours you spend at the job to come home to ungrateful children and ungrateful women, men are getting tired of that because we literally spend our lives, man, working hard and serving others, working hard, blue collar jobs, whether you are, a pipe fitter, a welder, an electrician, a mechanic, a police officer. These hard jobs that women aren't in mass, we work hard for our dollars. We take years off our life for these dollars. We sacrifice for these dollars. And all we're looking for is a little appreciation, but you can't find it here. So there's a move now to keep men on the plantation, to keep men from traveling abroad for seeking happiness. They want to make it seem as if you're wrong, Brother X. If we're wrong, Brother X, if we prioritize ourselves and our own happiness, but a day is coming and that day is manifesting that we're going to stop sacrificing ourselves for the ones who are not appreciative of us, who don't respect us, and we're getting up out of here and we're starting to travel and we're starting to see things a different way. And we are leaving this community to go up in the flames that it's in. So let these women keep having their babies by thuggo in them. Good men are leaving, as they should. And I hope more men follow. Back to you, Brother X.
Now, Brother BlackRam, you are probably the reddest of red pill brothers that I'm aligned with. And I agree totally, of course. But you'll have people who'll say, well, BlackRam, you say that, but what about the community? What about the kids? What do you say to those people who say, well, BlackRam, you're an individualist. You don't care about black society and all this kind of nonsense, which we know when they say in black society, translation, the women and they freaking babies. So what do you say to those people?
Real simple. If you look at the historical record, we tried to be about the community and failed. Once feminism came in the 1960s, once Lyndon Baines Johnson's Welfare Act came in, along with, I believe, Eisenhower, if I'm not mistaken, once these ideals in this situation hit the black community, the black female decided that freedom and family was not worth fighting for. But independence, feminism, promiscuity, and a welfare check is what they rather have. Instead of fighting with the black man, on alongside with the black man, fighting for the black man, these group of women, brother, in mass, and we never talk about this, but they literally, brother X, they literally sold out. They sold out to feminism and the Welfare Act. Whether it was civil rights movements by Dr. Martin Luther King, Elijah Muhammad's Nation of Islam, whether it was Stokely Carmichael's, who became Kwesi Mfume, whether it was his SNCC or his empowerment program, whether it was Marcus Garvey, all of these movements, whether it was the Black Panthers, whether it was the Vice Lords in Chicago, the Black Stone Rangers, whatever we tried to do to make community, Huey Newton, Fred Hampton, whatever we did to try to make community, our women said, no, we don't want that. We want the Europeans check. And after 50 plus years of making that decision, now they want us to come back to the table when there's really nothing left. The community is in ruins. So now for the first time, many of us are saying, you know what? We're turning our backs on the community, as we should, because we tried. Here's a common misconception, man. And it's a lot of misconceptions to fight. All you have to think about is your own life, Brother X, Dollar Will, Cortez Smith, CRU Realty. All you have to do is look back at your life. Those who are watching but not in the comment section, look back at your life and ask yourself, when you broke up with your woman, who initiated it and who decided to walk away? And you'll find that 90% of the time, it was the black female who said, I don't want you, baby daddy. I don't want you, boyfriend. I'm walking away to go to another. It's the woman who chose to be in a relationship with you. And 9 times out of 10, it's the woman who chose not to be in a relationship with you. Therefore, it was her, Brother X, who said no thank you to the black family. It was her who said and pushed away from the table and says, I can take this baby, me and Uncle Sam's check, and we're going to be all right. It was their decision. So now they want you to come and repair those mistakes. And us, we're deciding that we're just not having that, man. We're taking our talents and moving along, man, as we should. And my goal is to convince as many brothers as possible to go and play in another field. All of us may not be able to travel or expatriate, but at least toy with the possibility, at least look into it. And if I had it my way, the majority of us will simply look past this so-called African-American female from here on out. I understand genetics, I understand legacy, but we're past all that. We're creating monsters now. We're past all of that. If you want you a melanated woman so bad, go to Brazil, go to South America. Want a melanated woman, go to Africa, because this American mindset is the demise of us all. We're back to you, Brother X.
So do you believe that, because I see, I talk to a lot of red pill brothers, I talk to, everybody's been on T.P.O.T.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the wave of the red pill, MGTOW, IBMOR brothers, should it have kicked in sooner? Should it have been now? Should it have been, say, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago? Should this have taken place sooner?
Absolutely. And it would have saved a lot of men a lot of mistakes and heartbreak. It may be extreme, and people want to think about the long-term consequence of saying, I don't want a wife and I don't want children. And although it's extreme, we need those extreme measures. But I noticed this one thing, Brother X. The argument, the disagreement with movements that say, no wife, no children, the argument is that, hey, what about the population? And these are the talking points of so-called red pill men who are really blue pill men. They'll say all day, hey, if everybody says no to children and no to marriage, then what will happen to us as a race? And I laugh at that, Brother X. And I find it comical. Not only, Brother X, do I find it comical, I find it extremely hypocritical. Because nobody asks the black woman, hey, Why are you aborting all of those children? What happened if you abort all those children? What has happened? What is happening to our population with all those children that she's aborted? We're minus 50 million in the population. So if I, as a man, say as an individual, I don't want to have children, I'm demonized. I'm said I'm wrong. I'm a race traitor. I'm trying to destroy the community. But they never say, Brother X, to the black woman who's had 2 and 3 abortions in her lifetime, 4 and 5 abortions in her lifetime, the abortion of literally millions of babies. They never ask her, hey, don't you realize you're destroying our race? So they never hold her accountable. And I'm talking about the so-called red pill men here on YouTube, so-called red pill men here on YouTube who are pro-family and children, but they never say, hey, this black female has aborted what they would say God's gift. The female who you expect to be loving and nurturing and caring and the mother of children is a destroyer of children. How can we let that pass, Brother X? Literally, this demon is a destroyer of children with her womb. It was 1 year, and I don't know what the current statistic is, that in New York there were more babies aborted by black women than born from black women. This is a monster. But nobody looks at this monster and say, hey, this monster destroyed it. I don't want no parts of it. Why would I want to impregnate a woman who's had an abortion? Why would I want to impregnate a woman who has children by other men? Why would I want to impregnate a woman who has the capacity to murder the child that's within her? Why would I want to marry and wife that up? So we're refusing the poison. We're walking away from the table, man. And I think this is a smart choice. Again, I would get a lot of vitriol, a lot of flack for this. But in this day and age, at this point in time, and I do have a child myself, it is wise not to impregnate these women and not to marry these women. And for anybody to say, oh, no, you're going to destroy the community, that's lame, that's weak. What about all of these abortions that these women had? You never accuse her of having destroyed the community with all the abortions. You don't accuse her of having destroyed the community by raising these children on her own, so-called, by leaving her man and getting with another man, destroying the lives of these children, being the worst parent out of all parents or out of all groups of people on planet Earth. The worst thing that can happen to you as a human being is to have a black mother. Now, anybody who try to disagree with that, then tell me, why do black single mothers raise dysfunctional children? Why do black single mothers have a 70% rate of their children being incarcerated? Why is the abortion rate so high if this isn't? But here go the thing, the black woman is God. She's strong, she's powerful, she's strong, she's independent. But if all that is true, why is it so much of a poor job she's doing of being a mother? And that's what I would ask the question to the detractors of the message. But back to you, Brother X.
Well, what they will say is this. They will say, well, you don't know what she goes through. You don't know her story. You don't know her situation. Because, see, that's a problem with us too, within black society. See, men, our actions are categorized. Women's actions are contextualized. See, what a woman does, you have to put into context. You don't know her story. You don't know how many men were with her. You didn't know what she was thinking. You don't know what her plans was. You don't know what was going through her mind, like if any of that shit matters. But see, if a man does something, he's categorized as a lame, he's categorized as a deadbeat, he's categorized as a loser. But when a woman does something, you do not categorize it. You must contextualize. You must put it in context, okay? And that is the problem. We have spent the last 30, 40, 50 years putting the shit that these women do into context. We're putting it into context as opposed to calling it what it is. I mean, you got brothers now who, well, you got to put it in context. Why do I have to put in context a woman who has 7 kids by the time she's 30? Mm-hmm. There is no context to that. This is an irresponsible ass person. Mm-hmm. She's irresponsible. She has no mental discipline. no
None.
sexual discipline, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And she's probably a horrible mother to these children, because I find it hard to believe that you can juggle all these 7, 8 babies,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and carve out a decent life, because especially if they're close in age, because
Mm-hmm.
like I always say, she got one that's 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7. She dropped that baby out, and 6 months later, right back on another penis and another one in her gut.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't tell me that this person is responsible. You
Mm-hmm.
can't tell me that this person is even worth taking a bet on, that she's capable of building any type of life with you, any type of life with herself, and any type of life for those kids.
Mm-hmm.
But people will tell you to put that shit into context. Well, you gotta put it in context, because white supremacy has made it so she had to get out there and fuck and have all these babies, so it's all the it's all the white power structure's fault, that she does this. It's all the dude's faults, that she's screwed. It never makes its way to her, it seems like. It
Mm-hmm.
makes her way to her when you get on the old T.P.O.T YouTube page. But
Mm-hmm.
most of the time when you listen to these guys talk, I mean, they were down, I was down the hall at ODJ's, and he was talking about, do men love our mothers too much? And they got to talking about, the ever infamous baby mama. And you
Mm-hmm.
had dudes in the chat talking about, oh, it don't matter if she's got a kid or two. You got dudes in there talking about, well, if we're going to fix the community, some of you dudes got to be with these baby mamas. This is the shit you hear. And I'm like, these dudes are out of their fucking minds.
Yes.
They're out of their minds.
Yes.
Because see, and this is the thing, brother Black Ram. Most of these dudes who are sitting on this damn microphone and on this damn camera telling us, go out there and be with those baby mamas. I guarantee you, most of them dudes ain't doing it. Or, or they are doing it and they're trying to convince themselves that it's the right thing to do.
Exactly. So when the blue pill male has to look at the reality of his situation, he can either live in the truth, which is uncomfortable, realizing that he's played himself. So it's either the ugly truth or the comfortable lie. And most guys choose the comfortable lie. Like you said, they try to contextualize it, they try to justify it, they try to make peace with it. But no matter how much, as a man, something is in you nagging at you saying, this situation doesn't feel right, but I'm going to try my best to make it feel right. So they're going to come on YouTube and argue, going to come in the comment section and argue for it. When the truth is, they may be discontent in a situation like that, but they're so desperate for any woman to love them, any woman to want them, they'll take being a stepdad and try to be proud of it. But there's no pride that you can take in another man's child. I'm going to say that one more time. There's no pride you can take in another man's child. Whether that child fails or succeeds, he's still a product of his or her father. No matter what, you can't take credit for somebody else's biology. You can't do it. It's not going to work. So guys want to live in these comfortable lies. I know I have buddies of mine who literally lie to themselves because the truth is just really too ugly. They lie to themselves about their relationship. They try to tell themselves that they're the boss of their house when really the boss of your house is your woman. But they want to lie to themselves and act like they run their house when they literally are afraid of their wives. They want to lie to themselves and claim to be so great men because they're taking care of another man's child. When the reality is you're doing that because you're afraid to lose and make that woman become displeased with you. So we don't want to talk about the sheer weakness of a man when it comes to the modern female. The sheer weakness, the begging, the lack of self-respect. We want to deny and ignore those things and make excuses and say, oh, I'm doing the right thing by helping her take care of her children. But these men don't believe that they deserve better, but somewhere in there, they know they do. But they just settle. And 9 times out of 10, Brother X, one of the big problems with dealing with a woman who has a child by another, I'm not going to say all, but a lot of those women still have feelings for that baby daddy. Still have feelings. I have a baby mama myself, and she still cares about me. And it's nothing going on between her and I. However, I would hate to be her boyfriend because she does care a great deal about me. And I care about her too. But the difference is I'm a man. I can care about 10 women at a time. Again, I'm not a Western thinker, but my child's mother still cares for me. She cares about my well-being still. And my wife, my woman, my girlfriend, I don't want to share her heart with somebody else. I don't want to have a woman in my life who there is room also for someone else. That is just antithetical to who I am as a man. I don't want to protect a woman with my life who has a heart for another man's life. And a lot of women have all of these residuals with ex-boyfriends, even if they don't have kids, still all these residuals left. But definitely the residuals with baby daddy. And it may not be every time. It may not be all the time. But every man knows this. Sometime baby daddy can still hit that. I ain't saying it's true for every guy in every situation, but most of the time, baby daddy can still hit that. And if she's gonna cheat on her husband, 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be with that baby daddy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And that's the thing, when you talk about this package deal, the package deal ain't just her and the kids. The package deal is her, the kids, and the baby daddy.
Talk about
you taking on all that shit.
All of that. All of that.
You got to be willing to sever her kids and accept the fact that when your ass at work, baby daddy Mike can slip up in there and get his stick wet.
Yep.
All right. That's real. I know brothers probably thinking that shit. They with one of those old baby mamas and they saying to themselves, my girl ain't gonna do that. Are you sure?
And don't forget, and don't forget this kind of talk. Well, my second baby daddy or my first baby daddy, this, my third baby daddy, that, this baby, because you got 2-3 different ones.
Oh, of course.
And 1 or 2 of them, she still got some affection for.
Yeah, because it's like impossible for them to just have kids by one person. They must have kids by 5 people. Exactly. So you got 5. So now the package becomes even bigger.
Yep, even bigger. I've known
5 baby daddies come with that package, man.
Yep. I've heard stories, man, where some woman's baby daddy be locked up for 10 years or so, and that woman to get with a man, even marry a man, but at least live with him. And soon as dude get out of jail, she back with him. The guy she was living with don't mean nothing.
You're out of there.
I've seen it, and I've heard stories of it, man. It's ridiculous. Out of there.
Still sending him care packages, putting money on his books on the low, taking your money. You're going out there working, taking your money and putting money on the convicts' books.
Yep.
Think about that.
Yep. And the funny thing too, Brother X, I've seen women do this. I've had women that I know of do this, and they'll pretend with the boyfriend, with the husband, that they can't stand a baby daddy.
Oh yeah.
They can't stand his guts. They don't want to talk to him, but on the low, still love him, still doing for him. But the guy's silly enough to fall for it.
And still let him hit.
Yep.
Still let him hit. You let him mess around and come up in there and your ass at work. Cause see, number one, he already knows what it takes to get her on her back. Okay, he already knows what it takes, man. So I mean, you brothers, I know this hurts, brothers. I know this hurts, but see, it's a good pain. It's like I know it cuts across your chest like a finely sharpened katana. But guess what? Once the cut heals, man, you are better off. Have you ever noticed that money is unaccounted for, brothers?
Mm.
Have you ever noticed that things are missing of yours that she wouldn't have any use for? Now think about what I'm saying now. Think about what I'm saying, brothers. That money that's missing, where's it going? That shit of yours that she doesn't have any use for, where's it going? What's she doing with it? Are you sure? Are you sure?
Mhm.
Because see, that's the risk that you're taking with the quote unquote package deal. Because, like myself and brother BlackRam said, the package deal isn't just her and the kids. The package deal is her, the 5 kids, and their 5 fathers. So you're taking on 11 people. When you do this, you're bringing them. You're putting. It's almost like it's like a clown car almost. You know those clown cars? The car is real little and like 12 clowns get out of it. That's what that's what's going on. They
Yep.
are packing your car. Okay.
Yep.
You may not know it, but your car is full. Okay, your
Mhm.
car is full. And every single one of those brothers, unless his ass is in the penitentiary or dead, guess what? More than likely, he can come around and bang your girl. Yeah, I know you don't want to hear that. I know you don't, but you need to hear it. Because, see, brother, like Black Ram said, you don't want to be with some damn woman who you know still has the hots for some
Mhm.
other dude. Do
Exactly.
you?
Yep.
Do you? Come on.
Yep. And the truth is, a lot of these women, they will always love the baby daddy. Always. I mean, look at the bond. She literally carried this man's seed, his DNA, carried part of him in her for 9 months, then was charged and is charged for a lifetime of taking care of that man's DNA, a permanent link. Here's the thing, Brother X. She cannot love her son or her daughter and not love the child's father because that child comes from him. So if she's telling you to love her kids, then how can you not love that man? And
Mhm.
what kind of man has that kind of love for another man? It's almost like indirect homo stuff. It's weird stuff, man.
Yeah, that's the package deal, man. You
Yep.
know, I know y'all thought y'all was gonna come up here tonight and we were just gonna talk about, the woman and the kids, but you fall in love with her, she expect you to love her, expect you to love her bastards, and guess what? You gotta love this bastard daddy too. You
Got
know,
to.
you got to love him too. So you might as well prepare to fall in love with her, the kids, and her exes.
Yeah. Yeah. Think about that, Brother X. How can somebody say they love a man's son and a man's daughter, and that's his son or daughter? Well, you love me too. And you can't lie and say you don't love me because you're taking care of what belongs to me. You're taking care of, Brother X, my business. How can you voluntarily take care of my business without pay or compensation and say you don't love me?
Mhm,
So as a man, you taking care of my child, you love me. Ninja,
mhm.
you love me, dude.
Yes,
You're
think
on my
about that.
team. You're on my team. You're taking your resources and you're promoting my brand, my children. You're taking your resources and raising my genetic legacy. You are working for me. You're helping me do my job. You're standing in
Exactly.
my place. And no
Exactly.
matter how you look at it, you cannot get past that. You're working on my behalf. You are a volunteer employee and servant of me. So you might as well bow down to me. You might as well kiss my feet. You might as well love me like you love those children and you love that mama. How can
Because
you not?
aren't you, when you do that, brother Black Ram, aren't you just supplementing? You're supplementing this guy. Because if you're buying clothes and shoes and hats and school supplies and all this kind of nonsense, You're making it so he doesn't have to do it, or he does less of it because
Absolutely.
he's got you there. You're buying the school supplies. You're buying the clothes, the
Mm-hmm.
hats, the shirts, the
Yep.
toys, the birthday
Mm-hmm.
presents. So guess what? You buying big old bikes and shit like that. He coming in there with little shit. He coming in there with a damn flashlight. You know, you buying gifts that cost $500. He's coming in there with shit that costs $5 because see, he doesn't have to spend any money. You're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing it. He
Yep.
doesn't have to take care of the kid.
Yep.
You're doing it.
Yep.
You're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're making this brother's life easier. You are losing resources. He is stacking them up.
Absolutely.
He's stacking because he doesn't have to buy the kid any sneakers. You're
Mm-hmm.
doing it. Doesn't have to buy the kid a jacket in the wintertime. You got that covered.
Mm-hmm.
He probably sits at his house and says that. He probably
Mm-hmm.
looks through his shit and be like, well, I don't got to buy my kids any coats because their stepdad does it. I don't
Mm-hmm.
have to buy my kids any sneakers because the stepdads does it. I
Yep.
don't have to buy them any clothes, school supplies. You know what? Fuck it. Maybe I'll spring for, I don't know, a hat. Yeah, I'll just buy a hat because everything else, their old stepdad has it covered. Do you want a brother having that conversation about you? I mean, all jokes aside, y'all, what y'all don't understand about old X, well, y'all should understand it by now, but X is for the brothers, okay? I don't want brothers, number one, to settle, all right? Number two, I don't want brothers to be used, all right? Number three, I don't want brothers to waste their life on something that they can't look back on and be proud of. You can't look back on other kids, on another man's kids and be proud of that. I don't give a shit what they accomplish. I don't give a shit what they grow into. You're not going to be able to look back on that and be proud of it. It's not you. You didn't create it. Yeah, you might have contributed to it. You know, you might have taught them how to bounce a basketball. You might have taught them how to hit a baseball. You might have taught them how to throw a football. But guess what? That's somebody else's goddamn kid, man. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want that for you, brothers. I really don't, man. I don't. Because I know how I would feel, okay, if I spent 10, 15, 20 years raising the next man's kid while he went on off and did whatever he wanted to do and screwed his hoes and traveled the world, and I'm stuck working 2 and 3 jobs to help the old mama
Right.
take care of him. Come on, man. You deserve better than that. And I know you've been taught that you don't, but X is here to tell you different. You
Yes.
deserve better than that, brothers. You
Yes.
do. And don't let nobody tell you different. Now, you might have came from an old baby mama yourself. A lot of us do. But snap out of that funk. Because see, your old mama will tell you the same shit. Your mother will tell you, especially if she one of them old baby mamas, she'll tell you, well, you know, if you're gonna be with her, that's a package deal, son.
Mm-hmm.
Your old mama will tell you that shit. You know why? I'm gonna tell you why. And I know this is gonna bother y'all too, but y'all know how X is about these old mamas.
Mm-hmm.
Your old mama will tell you to get with one of these old baby mamas, especially if she's one. Why? Because she don't want you to get a woman with no kids. She
Mm-hmm.
don't want you to get a woman with drive, ability, desire, submissive to you, feminine, demure. Why? Because see, if you get a woman that's the exact opposite of her, it confirms mom's fucking failure.
Yep.
She wants you to get a woman just like her. She don't want you to get a woman better than her because all that does is confirm mom's failure. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying. I want better for you, brothers, man. That's why I say the things I say. That's why I do the things I do. All right. I tell you these things because these are the same things I tell my sons. I have adult sons. Everyone who knows me knows that. I have 2 adult sons. And I tell them the same shit. Because I don't want them to end up with some old baby mama with 4 and 5 kids, 4 and 5 people, and my sons end up taking care of them. They come into my house with them and all that kind of shit. Because guess what? I would be fucking pissed, Ram.
Mm-hmm. Not to mention, you don't know what kind of baby daddy the guy is. He get out of jail or whatever situation, and come to the house in the middle of the night drunk or blowing a phone up in the middle of the night.
He's part of the package.
Yep, part of the package. And one thing I always told myself, man, that I would not be laying in the bed next to a woman at night and she has to answer to some man.
Yeah.
And if baby daddy called at night, she should answer the phone because that's the father of her children. I'm not going to be laying next to her, though.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Yeah, be that. But be that somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Be that somewhere other than where I am.
Exactly.
Exactly. I think what young men have to do is, number one, they have to learn to gain some self-esteem. Because I think it's a self-esteem thing, Black Ram. It has to be, because many of us, and I say this a lot, many of us, we don't have standards, man. We'll climb on top of any damn body.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who got a hole between their legs, boy, we'll climb on top of. We don't think about anything. If she got a hole and she willing to show it to us, there we go. We don't care about shit else. We don't care about if she got 9 kids. We don't care what she looked like. We don't care. Yeah, we don't care.
Right.
If she got a hole and she willing to show it to us, boy, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to stop doing that shit. We have to stop thinking with our goddamn penises all the time, okay? And use our mind. Because that whole thinking with your penis shit, that's the shit that gets you into these situations, man. Because you're thinking with your damn dick.
Indeed.
We have to stop it, man. Because the package is needs to be returned to sender. You have to stamp that motherfucker return.
Turn to sender.
To sender. And be willing to say it, man. That's what it is. I think many of us, because we're indoctrinated by our old mamas, we are just afraid to say a simple word. No. We're afraid. We're afraid to tell these old women no, man. We're afraid to say, no, woman, I ain't doing that. We're afraid to say it.
Yep. And I mean, most men don't have a relationship with their women on their terms from the start.
Yep.
So oftentimes it's too late to try to make any changes because you started the situation in a negative, in a sense that you started off catering to her. You started off trying to please her and submitting to her will. You started off by putting her on a pedestal. So it only stands to reason that a situation like that would only get worse and continue on. Listen, I even know men, no joke, and you can see it on paternity court and divorce court and Maury. I've known men and seen men where their woman and their wives get pregnant by another man and they still stick around and take care of the kid. How many times have you saw this? Although it's not his baby, I'm gonna still stick around, he says, to help take care of the kid, because even though it's not his kid, it still is his kid.
Yeah. Knowing she done went out there and fucked. She done went out there and fucked, and they get the test, and come to find out while y'all was together, she was fucking this dude, and the damn baby turns out to be his baby, and this idiot say, well, that's still my baby. In the audience be in the background clapping and shit. Maybe cheering. Me, I'm like, this dude's an idiot. She done went out there and fucked. She done had a baby by somebody else while y'all were together. But your self-esteem is so in the toilet that you gonna stick around any goddamn way.
Absolutely.
Come on, man. Come on.
Yeah.
This is what we have, man.
Yep. So these men will accept and put up with anything. So when I say that these men, and let me say red pill men are an elite group of men, we are not to count ourselves among common men because we're extraordinary men. But the common man Brother X, is far weaker emotionally than any female out here. The common man today, the modern man today, is just an absolute wimp and cuckold. No standards, no self respect whatsoever. And we'll just literally deal with any old thing that comes my way. And even more than that, we'll become proud of it, which I started to realize this year that my red pillness is super dark red, probably going on to probably black, because these men out here, they make a lot of concessions, man. They try to make a lot of excuses. And if it's not pro male, pro patriarchy, I'm not with it. I'm not pro black people. I'm pro black male. The female is to follow, serve, and be guided. I'm pro black male. I'm not pro black folk nothing. Because nowadays, pro black, you have to be honest. Pro black means pro female, pro black female. That's what it has degenerated to.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And we all know it. We all know it, man. I mean, a lot of us don't like to say it, but I mean, because no one gives a shit about black men anyway. Okay. The only people who give a shit about black men is other black men like us.
That's
No
it.
one gives a shit about black men, man. Told you, I keep saying this all night. It's like we're not even part of the damn community.
Mhm.
When you think community, you don't think us. You do not think us. They
Mhm.
don't care about us, man. We're just a disposable tool to be used, as needed. We might as well have that shit written on our backs. Use as needed,
That's a good one.
like a can of spray and shit, like
That's
a
a good
can of
one.
deodorant, you
Mhm.
know.
That's
Use
a
as
good one.
needed, man.
Use as needed.
Yeah, use as needed, man. I'm telling you.
PRN.
Not only do women think like that, a big contingent of men think like
Mhm.
that. You
Yep.
hear it. You hear it on media, how these dudes talk about this shit like, well, you guys are supposed to be doing X, Y, and Z for the community. What do you
Mhm.
mean? What are we, Martians? What are we not part of it? What did we drop out of the goddamn sky? We are the goddamn community, Negro.
Exactly.
Aren't we? Or are we not? That's what
Exactly.
pisses me off. And it's
Mhm.
like they've taken up this mantra as us being disposable too. Because see, if you're a brother who say, you know what, man, I can't deal with these black women because they got too many kids and all this kind of stuff, they'll call you a Sambo, a coon, a white supremacist, and all this kind of nonsense just because you don't want some baby mama who's got 7, 8, 9 kids. I mean, you're not allowed to think about your own standards. You're not allowed to think about your own legacy. You're not allowed to think about any of that. You're supposed to think about her and the legacy of all these 6 kids she got, okay, by these other dudes. To me, that doesn't make any sense. They got this whole save the children mentality. It's not your job to save the children. It's her job.
Yeah.
It's her job. And
Yeah.
those Negroes she had those babies by, it's their job to save them.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's not our problem. And of course, they don't like the fact that we are starting to turn our back on the community, but so what? Uh you asked I mentioned a question earlier about you mentioned about those who will call us individualists. But we've tried to be a community. We've tried to make this thing work. You're not going to spend your whole lifetime working for something that's just not going to pan out and be fruitful. I have always been a nationalist. I've always loved my people. But sometimes it's time to say enough. I mean, how much more are we going to just, say or try to stick with a burning ship, a burning building? So if you really love yourself, you must save yourself. And that's what we are starting to do today. And I know a lot of people have a problem with men dating interracially, but there's a whole group of men who've sworn off the American black woman, and their lives are the better for it. Now, unfortunately, brother X, they don't make them like your wife no more. I'm sure you've been with her a number of years, probably at least about 15, right, brother X?
18. We've been married for 18 years.
18
Well, I've
years.
known her for 20, but we've been married for
There
18
you
years.
go. So those type of women that's gonna stick with you and just have your babies, man, they don't make them like that no more.
Nah.
And we're not gonna sit around and wait for that.
Now they want your babies and 5 or 6 other people's babies.
Exactly.
They don't want just yours. They want yours
Exactly.
and this guy and this guy and this guy. I'm telling you, I feel like I know I often talk about oops babies, but I think those oops are on purpose, man.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
oops are on purpose. There's a means to this end, man. Because I see old women now, right? I see old women now who may be in their 60s or whatever. A lot of these women, man, they still have grown sons living in their house. You know, and this woman is 60 years old. And she still got like a 30-year-old son still
Yeah.
living in the house. Like, I mean, there's gotta be something deliberate to this. I just can't put
Mhm.
my finger on it. But there's some deliberacy to this, especially if you still pumping them out, you know,
Mhm.
over, you know, you like mid-30s and you still pumping them out,
Yeah. Yeah.
knowing your ass ain't gonna marry nobody. And you're still pumping them out. You can't tell me there's something deliberate behind this. You just want to have your old ass 60 years old and it's selfish as hell, brother Black Ram, because see, they're not thinking about the development of the children. They're thinking
Mhm.
about staving off the fucking loneliness.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
somebody in the house is better than nobody in the
Nobody.
house.
And with all the forms of birth control, any woman having a baby nowadays, it has to be deliberate.
Yep.
Has
Yep.
to be.
Yep. Yep. I truly believe that. Like I said, I'm always talking about these oops babies, but I think it's oops on purpose. It's oops on purpose. There's a
Accidentally on purpose.
Oh yeah, there's a reason behind it, man. There's a reason behind the shit, man. And the reasons are selfish. Just like this woman who has all these babies, man. She's selfish as a motherfucker. If she's
Mhm.
trying to move you into her house.
Mhm.
She's not thinking about the welfare of those children, man. She's not.
Yep.
She's just trying to get another one in her gut by you.
Yep.
That's all she's trying to do, man. So she can further her freaking means testing of how many she can have. So by the time she's 60, she calculates she'll still have at least 2 in the house.
Mhm.
Think about it, brothers.
Absolutely. Let
Think
me
about it.
let me respond to a common statement um, that's been made, and a statement that's being made right now in the comments section. And this is no disrespect, and I'm not trying to put you on blast, little mama. And she says, I agree, BlackRam313, but men can protect themselves too. Here's the issue with that statement, little mama. It is true, men can protect themselves too. However, this is the key. When a female gets pregnant, when she gets pregnant, first of all, she chooses to get pregnant because there are several forms of birth control pills. Not several, but at least 50. A man has a vasectomy, condom, pull out. That's it. Just 3. Men, we don't make excuses. So here's the point. Here's the situation. When a woman has a child, she can decide to have an abortion and not have that child. She can decide on birth control. If she does have that child, she can decide to give that child up for adoption. And something that we do in the black community is this, brother X. If the mama don't give a kid up to adoption, what she usually do is give it to her mama or her mama's mama or even her sister. That's the ghetto black community form of adoption.
Mm-hmm.
The black woman or any woman can also take that baby down to your local hospital, your local fire station,
Preach.
and your local police station and never have to pay child support ever, or never have to be responsible for that child. So here's the catch, little mama. And you say men can protect themselves too. As a man, it is absolutely impossible to escape that responsibility except in death. If the man has a kid or gets a woman pregnant and he doesn't want that child, he can't tell her to abort that baby. He cannot tell her to adopt that kid. And even if she does do anything besides an abortion, that man will still be held responsible in the way of child support. My point is that women have all the power and none of the responsibility or accountability. Men have no power, but all the accountability and all the responsibility. Men will always be held responsible for their actions. Women never. So those are two different things. We talk about context. That's the true context in this society in which we live in, La Mama, because a man gonna always be held accountable. If he's a deadbeat so called and he goes to jail and he's locked up and can't pay child support because he's locked up, you better believe any commissary he gets, literally, any commissary money get on the books, that money is taken for them kids. Let me tell you another thing. If he's ever to hold a job again in his life, those wages will be garnished. And if he doesn't work, that bill is still going, and they will literally imprison him and tell him that $100,000 debt he has to pay one way or another. And as long as he lives, that debt will never be expunged or eradicated or forgiven. He will always be held responsible, even if he's a deadbeat. He will have that $100,000 debt over his head. He'll never be able to leave the country. Will never be able to get a passport. None of those things if he owes that debt. So understand, La Mama, and people who have those same talking points and argument as La Mama, that a man will always be held responsible and accountable in the worst way for all his actions and decisions, especially with dealing with children and pregnancy and women, always. So to me, in my humble opinion, La Mama, it's not about what the man does. It's all about what the woman does, because she literally holds all the cards and all the power. That's like going to a company and not holding the manager responsible or the owner responsible for the actions of the employees. The woman is the owner of the restaurant. She's the one that has the baby. She's the one that makes the choices who to sleep with, who not to sleep with. All those choices are hers, and she doesn't have any responsibility. So that's the thing. So we always must remember that. Now, I know on the surface, when somebody said, well, men should be responsible and protect themselves too, that is true. But we always will pay the price when we don't protect ourselves. Always will pay the price. Therefore, since we'll always be held responsible and accountable, you cannot blame the man. You have to blame those who are not held responsible and accountable, because they're going to take it out of a man no matter what. So whether he wants the baby or not, he's still going to be responsible. So it's not about a man protecting themselves, because literally what I'm trying to say to the people watching, there's literally a consequence whether a man protects himself or not. Always a responsibility whether he protects himself or not. So saying that he should be responsible is not the issue, because he always will be held responsible. The mom says both are responsible. No, only one is responsible, the one who the society holds responsible, and that's the man. Again, La Mama, I'm not going to try to make sense to you, because I don't really try to make sense to women, no disrespect. So I don't argue with women. But
it's a futile effort.
Exactly. But again, that woman can go drop that baby off at the local fire station and be done. A man can't do that. But with that, I hold my peace on that particular subject.
Absolutely.
I think I stated my point and made my case.
Absolutely not. I mean, she can force you to be a papa, but you can't force her to be a mama. She can have that baby and jump on a plane and fly to Europe and sell it to some European couple and come on back, and you can't do shit. Even if you wanted that baby, you can say, "Hey, girl, I wanted that baby." She'd be like, "So what?" Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Just like if you say, "Hey, girl, I don't want that baby," she can say, "So what?" But if she says she wants it, guess what? You can't say so what.
Yep.
If she says she doesn't want it, you can't say so what. You can't say anything. I say again, she can force you to be a father. You cannot force her to be a mother. And like Ram said, shoot, she can leave it at the fire department, the hospital, shoot down here. You can leave a baby at the YMCA if you want to. They got the little things, little signs on the YMCA. You can leave that baby right on the YMCA step and be gone. No question is asked. No questions asked. Leave that baby right there. But let's flip it over. You got this baby with this woman, and you say, "Hey, look, I don't want this baby, girl. Give me this baby. I'm taking it and leaving it at the YMCA." You think you can? You think you can do that shit?
Nope. They'll take you to jail.
Yeah, you going straight to the hoots gal. But she could take it and leave it right on the steps. So all these YMCA's down here got those little signs, those little safe zone signs on them, where you can literally just leave the baby there and walk on off into the sunset. Nobody will chase you. Nobody will follow you. Down here at the hospitals, they actually have a literal, like the when you go to the bank and the teller push that thing open and you put the capsule in there when she push it open. Man, they got that shit for babies.
Wow.
You can open that thing and put that baby in there and close that thing and walk on off.
Mm-hmm.
So I ain't even trying to hear that shit, little mama. I ain't even trying to hear that shit.
Yeah, but that's no disrespect, little mama, but that's actually little mama logic for real.
Yeah, baby, baby, little baby mama logic to be precise. little baby, little baby mama logic
baby
and shit.
mama.
Little baby mama. I don't know how long I got you for, Ram. I see some of the usual suspects in the chat. I don't know if y'all want to come on or not for these last few minutes. Because I don't know how long I got, Ram. I know we on different time zones, so
I'm
probably
good for about another good 30 minutes or so.
oh shit. Well, we on then.
Mm-hmm.
If y'all brothers want to come on, you gotta let me know, say something in the chat or something like that. Because we live with BlackRam313, my dude, because oh damn, I ain't even got shit queued up. Hold up, let me start again. We here live with my man BlackRam313, y'all, because
This is therapeutic, man.
yeah, man, it's therapeutic, boy. I'm trying to tell you. So
Mm-hmm.
if y'all want to come on, let me know. I see the OG J Speed is in here. I see what's good, brother. Fantastic. I see you up there, man. Brother Cortez is in the house. So anybody that want to come on, just say something. I'll shoot you the link because this is YouTube. Everybody has everybody's email. So you want to come on, just let me know. But let me ask you this, brother Black Ram, while we wait for the brothers to figure out what they want to do. Do you think that at any time, if are there any circumstances, I know what I think, but are there any circumstances where a man should be with a woman that has children?
That's a great question, man. I saw. How can I say this? It's been said in different YouTube spaces, and I've heard it outside of YouTube in many different spaces that a lot of people want to make concessions for women who are widowed. For a woman has a child and in a marriage, and the child of the father of that child passes away, then a lot of people would like to excuse that and say, hey, then it's okay for a man to step in. But I say, hell no. Tragedy happens all of the time. See, I value myself enough, Brother X, and men should value themselves enough to not try to clean up somebody's tragedy. It's not my fault, not my responsibility, not my job, and frankly, not my place to be your insurance policy against tragedy. I'm not going to take my life, Brother X, because your husband passed away or the father of your children passed away. I'm not going to take my life and try to make those things right. There are many safety nets in this society. This is what your local church is for. This is what your local mosque is for. This is what Little League is for. But that's not my position. I value myself enough to say, nah, that's an unfortunate circumstance, sweetheart, that the father of your children passed away and whom you were married to, that you were a widow. At the same time, I'm not going to take it upon myself to come in and repair or fix or stand in the gap of that situation, because I value myself too much. As a man, if I want children, I'm going to have my own children and take care of those children, not the children of another man, whether he be alive or dead. And I truly believe that it is a simp's position, my opinion, that it is a simp's position to take care of any child that's not his under any circumstances. I've never taken care of a woman's child, but I have given to a woman's children before, and that was some simp stuff. I won't repeat that again.
So it doesn't matter to you if, say she a widow or whatever, and she got 2, 3 kids, and they all by the same dude. To you, that's the same thing, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's the same thing because the results are the same. Again, that's that context you're talking about. We want to contextualize it instead of just categorizing it. She's still a single mother. That's the category. So let's categorize her instead of contextualizing it. And I'll say no to that as well as no to whether he's incarcerated or alive or passed away or dead.
Yep.
Can't do it.
But we done been joined by the OG, J Speed. What's good, OG? It's been a while, man.
It's been a while, but I just got through with this conversation. And I would respectful disagree with the brother's last statement due to the fact is how you think these guys end in jail, usually by crime, carjacking, breaking in your house, drive-bys, gang members. I bet the same brother, and I don't know you at all, my brother, and I'm saying this with respect. You probably spend 3 hours looking at a basketball game, football game, or whatever your activity might be. And that's your right to do that. Well, what I am saying is, why are we throwing the children out as they choose to come into this situation? Our children are our future, regardless of how you feel, how they came in there. What I am saying, what time do it really takes to mentor a child? I was mentored, even though I had my father and didn't have my mother in my life. Suppose somebody would have took that same approach and say I was untouchable like they do in India as us as black people, and they call us untouchable because they have a discord with our skin color. So what I'm just saying is we drinking too much of the Kool-Aid and not understanding the longevity is these children will be our future. Either they'll be our future and be at war with our children that we are raising with 2 families, or they'll be a menace in our society. And for us to get so bold and get so branded that we make ourselves unapproachable to our children, regardless, because they didn't choose to be here. And let me let you understand something else too, my brother. When there's no custody order, a male can get his child and drop him off at the fire station just like the mother or the YMCA. It's only when there's a custody order. And that only happens because brothers are too lazy to go down to the courtroom and fight for their children. I fought for mine and got mine before she was 2 years old because I wasn't scared of the courtroom. I went there for the best interest of my child. So to hold the woman responsible because she has all the choices after y'all get out the bedroom, that might be cool. Let's hold her responsible. Let's change the narrative with her. Let's shun her, but let's don't throw the children out with the bathwater. And that's where me and you disagree. Not with the mother's bad behavior, not with the father's bad behavior, but I do have a problem when we as black men who built this country fatherless, motherless, because they could have sold us anytime and built the #1 country in the world. But all of a sudden, it's a problem now. Just like unemployment, 14, 24%, unemployment. It was a problem when they had to start paying us. But when we wasn't getting paid, they didn't have unemployment. So let's don't us start preaching the same thing as the supremacy or the Klan members say. We have to look at this thing. We have a mercy in our community, and the child is already here. It's not like we can shoot them off to Mars. They're already here. And for you as a man yourself, you don't know what a smile can do just to say hello to that child that might be untouched and smile at that child and say, look, brother, I don't know your name, but I see you in the neighborhood. That child could be thinking about with a gun, a Uzi in his backpack, getting ready to go kill your child or your family child or somebody else innocent just because you consider that child as being untouchable. So we got to rethink this thing. Yes, we have a major problem in our community with these mothers raising 85% of these children. But these damn children didn't come from Mars. If 85% of these mothers raising these children, what happened to the 85? What happened to the 85% of the fathers out there? We got to have some balance in this conversation, my
Hold up,
brother.
I gotta stop you there, OG. That's where I gotta stop you.
Yes,
I like
sir.
to rebuttal his
I
points
got
too when I get a chance to.
yeah, I'm gonna let you come right in, but I gotta stop you right there, OG, because according to statistics, and I know people don't like statistics because you know they white folks statistics, but according to statistics, when you're talking about black folks, somewhere between 70 and 80% of black women between the ages, I think, of 18 and 35 have at least 2.5 children on average. You know what percentage of black men have children? I think it's somewhere between 42 and 49%, which tells us what? Which tells us what?
They are having sex with the
A lot of these women are having kids by the same guy. So
and I
it's
understand
not
that.
85 and 85.
No, what I'm trying to say is, regardless of what the numbers are, these children are already here. And so I would hate for my mother or my brother to go down the street and get a drive-by or carjack or broken in my house by these children that we won't touch due to the condition of how their mother brought them in the world, which they didn't choose. And what I'm saying, and we are holding the children responsible for what their mother inappropriate action is.
No.
That's where that's where our difference.
I
Let
don't
me,
think
can I respond?
Please, my brother.
I don't think we're doing that, OG. I think we're trying to hold the women responsible. And I think mentoring or teaching or tutoring children is totally different than moving with their old mama and help raise them. But
No,
go
I'm
ahead.
not talking about having sex, my brother. I'm not talking about having a relationship.
Okay.
What I am talking about is what we're not talking about is these children are here.
Yeah.
And we got to do something positive towards them. Regardless, let's put their mothers and fathers' feet on the fire. Let's put their mothers on the feet on fire because she had all the choices after she came out of the bedroom that men didn't have. That's all I'm saying. Is if we're gonna have this conversation, me, you, and this brother, we all want a better commitment. We want a better community.
His name is
BlackRam313. We all want the same thing. We all want a better community. We all want a better economy in our community. We all want a better way of life. But we can't act as these children are not here already. And what we gonna do with them?
Brother Ram, I know you want to respond. Pull the trigger.
Oh yeah, dear brother J Speed, I would not disagree with you. In fact, I did not make the point of not mentoring young boys. Never made that point. In fact, I believe my duty as a civilized man, if I came across a situation where a young man needed my guidance and needed my help, I would be doing myself a disservice not to mentor that young boy, because I want for my brother what I want for myself. I would want for him what I would want for myself. So there's no way I would deny wisdom and opportunity to build up a young brother. I would not turn my head and my nose up at a young brother. All I'm saying is that I will not deal with his mama in a sexual way. If I want to mentor a young man, I'm going to make it solely and exclusively about that young man. And that's something that I'm willing to support. That is something I've done in the past. And that's something that I would do in the future if a situation came across my way. And I have no problem with mentoring young boys. No problem with that. Our young men need help. They didn't put themselves in this situation, although they are held responsible for certain things. But there's no way I would turn my back on mentoring a young man. I just couldn't do that. So I'm not the type of brother, dear brother J Speed, to say, you know what, forget those boys. When we talk about saving the community, we're talking exclusively and explicitly about taking on a single mother as your wife, your woman, or your girlfriend in a live-in situation. And I'm saying that as a man, I value myself above that. But if I'm going to mentor her son, I'm not going to have anything to do with the mother. And one reason why, brother J Speed, is this. Most of the time, if the relationship goes south with the mother, 9 times out of 10, that mentoring situation is going to be fractured and cause discontent, because that mother's going to go get another boyfriend. And that would cause confusion. She has a new boyfriend that's in the child's life, and I'm trying to be in the child's life too, and neither one of us are the father. See what kind of confusion that solves. So to cut all of that out, I'm not going to have any dealings with the mother whatsoever from beginning to end or even in the middle. All this meant to those young boys, and that'll be the end of it. So again, Brother J Speed, I agree with you. I have no disagreement with that.
I agree with you too, my brother. I just think these kind of sentiments are not echoed in these types of conversation, and someone who may be younger than you and I might get the message twisted and thinking we are talking about throwing the child out with the bathwater. I am 100% a brother who have had 11 sisters, who came from a household of 18. A brother who had went down to court system and fought for his child and won physical custody of his child at 2 years old while she was still on the breast. I'm just trying to give brothers other solutions to go down to that courtroom, because it ain't like the child been aborted. It ain't like the child wasn't happening. The child is here now. So you can go down in the courtroom even if she don't take you there. Matter of fact, it would be better for us to educate brothers how to go down and put a parenting plan together where they don't have to have a lawyer, and go down in that courtroom and win their child when they know it's the best interest of the child, is not the attack on the mother. When we understand what the protocol of that courtroom is, and stop being so scared and go in there, because when there is no protected custody or custody of that child, a father has just as much right to that child as the mother. And that's what we don't understand. And these are things I want to echo to let brothers know you do have power. You do have power. And when the court see you have for the best interest of the child, I mean, I really doctored up my best interest, let's say my parenting plan. I looked at every hockey game, every basketball game, every kind of PL game, every kind of show coming to town, and I put all that in my parenting plan, saying, this is what I want to do with my child. She studied, attacked at me in the courtroom, and the court sided with me because I didn't attack her. It's for the best interest of the child. As long as we having these kind of conversation and we have these kind of narrative and make people understand, yes, we should crucify women who go out and do things that is really corrupting our neighborhood, because our neighborhoods are in a state of emergency. I do understand that, but that don't mean that we should push away for the innocent children. That's all my message is. And you did clear that up, and I'm with you 100%, my brother.
Absolutely. And I just want to say, in the times that I have talked about rejecting single mothers in my videos, I have a video series called Stepdaddy 1, 2, 3, and 4, and a couple of videos on single mothers by the same title. In a couple of those videos, I did mention mentoring young boys. So I'm very aware of that necessity, and I would not again turn my back or my ear from a young man who would need my help.
Yes, sir. And most respect for that.
But the old mama can kick rocks.
Oh, she's been doing it for a long time. She's been doing it for a long time. She's experienced with it.
Oh, mama can kick rocks, god damn it. And I'm saying it, and I don't care who don't like it. Your old mama can kick rocks, because she's the one that put you in this predicament that needs these men help in the first place. But let me ask you this now that I got you here, OG.
Yes, sir.
You're a little bit older than me. You're older than Brother BlackRam. You're an OG. When you were coming up, when you were young, did you see the epidemic proportions of baby mamaism like you see now? I mean, was it as bad? And if it was, were brothers more likely to take on a woman with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 kids? It's a two-part question.
Yes, sir. And I'm gonna tell you how bad it was, my brother. My own mother tried to poison me at 6 months old, and she fled to New York. Now think about that. Now I could be a brother who's mad at black women. I choose not to. Because she had to be sick. Real sick. But we don't know the pressure of a woman having 18 children either. Back in them days. We don't know what was in her head. I was laying up in the hospital at 6 months old. The doctors thought I was going to die from pneumonia. And they knew that there was no way that a baby can drink 8 ounces of kerosene on his own. But back in them days, they didn't have the protected children's service and all the stuff they have today.
Wow.
So I have a personal story, and I have a personal horse in this race, my brother. My aunts and my grandmother raised me. My father was in my life. But the sisters who raised me, raised to love me. And I turned out to be the way I am. And I've been doing it for all my life. Helping young brothers and sisters to change their minds. So if that story don't touch your heart or your mind, we ain't human no more.
So when this happened, I mean, I don't know how much of this you want to talk about it. How much?
Let's go for it. Let's go for it.
Okay, because you know I will, OG. You know me.
Let's go for it.
After that, when you got to be an older kid and realize what happened, you know, I don't know what age that could have been, maybe 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, I don't know. Did you continue to live with your mother after that? After that, did you continue to live with her?
I told you, my brother and my mother fled to New York. I was raised right there in Charlotte, North Carolina. West Boulevard Homes. Right down the street from Dalton Village.
I know the area.
So I didn't know exactly what happened because they kept it a secret. You know, that's black secret we have in our families. And so what I'm saying, with all that I went through, when I met my mother when she was like 11, when I was like 11 years old, my uncle brought me to New York, and I spent most of the time in New York with having all them girls in the family. I never questioned my mother. I became the example, and I don't know how I did it. Well, maybe it was from the ancestors, but I showed my mother she made a mistake. So I ain't never had to confront her. She seen what she was trying to destroy, the man that she was trying to destroy. And the children she loved when she was in New York and separated herself from the children she left down south. She seen the man that I growed into, never been in jail, always been productive, always working in the neighborhood as a young man, because my father had me at 50. So all the guys that I hung around was about that age. It wasn't until my mother passed away that the ancestors told me what happened. And I called my sister, and she just started crying. She said, I don't know how you know that, but that's exactly what happened. And I confirmed it with my uncle. So I got a lot of things to hate black women for. At least that one. But I learned to love her, not as a mother, but as a person who could have flushed me down a tortoise stew. And even though she tried to kill me, but God said it wasn't my time. And I ain't no Bible thumper and no religious person, because you know I don't come at like that. My ancestors kept me. So when we start having these conversations, this brother could have a chip on his shoulder. And this brother could be mayhem in the community when it came to black women. But it made me stronger. It made me look at things differently. I don't make excuses for bad behavior in the black community that women do. I check them on it. But I'm not going around and crucifying our other half, because I ask all black men and black women, if they kill all black women today, the ones you want to be designed to kill, who in the hell you think is next? You the only one that can produce a black child of all colors. Your ass is next. And anybody that been in the military knows that the biggest gun is the one they try to take out first, is because they can cause the most harm. And I tell the black women the same thing. If they kill all these no good brothers you keep talking about, who the hell you think is next? You are the manufacturer for every black soul on this earth. And that's the kind of conversation I want to have. It's where we understand where the problems is and throw the solution, water on the fire, but not fire on fire or gasoline on the fire. Because all we done went through in life from our own community experience and other people's community experience, look, man, we should be proud of where we at. We was turned loose with nothing, couldn't own nothing, couldn't vote for nothing. And for whatever our condition is in this world today, there has never been, never, ever on this planet been a condition like what we went through. So we are doing a lot better. People don't even understand it took the Jews almost 600 years to get their shit together. We've been out of slavery and Jim Crowism, I would say, the 70s. And so I know we're going to do better. I know it's going to get better. And I can appreciate brothers like BlackRam313, who's bringing a different conversation to the party. That's respect. I give it to the young generation because they don't think like us. We couldn't think the way they was thinking. We had another battle. So I do respect the younger generation bringing a new piece to the puzzle, where you are putting the responsibility on the women that they should have on them. I don't have no faults with that. But what I'm saying is we cannot gut out our community to get where we're trying to get.
Well, let me ask this, because often, you know, like you said, brother OG, you said that, you know, we need solutions. And we hear people talk about this a lot. We talk about putting out the fires. But I think we have to come to grips with some of these fires we're trying to put out. We're in the middle of them. We're not standing outside hosing down a burning building. We're actually inside the burning building with a bucket of water. Now I know people hate that I said that shit, but you know, this is the T.P.O.T YouTube page. I say the shit that I want. A lot of these fires, we're trying to put them out and we're inside of them. We're inside the burning building. We're inside of it. And we're trying to put it out with a bucket, which is going to be impossible. So some of these situations in Black society, some of these problems in Black societies, we have to get out of the burning building, man, or we're going to be consumed too. That's just some of these problems. That's what it is. Now,
I understand that, my brother. I understand you 100%, but we has to be, as elders,
I think we
the
lost
siren of the past. And I'm not talking about our history. We really don't. We know how white people treated us, but we really don't know enough about white people history to understand they went through this same shit. They did. They didn't start up on top of the mountain. They're only 13 to 16% of this population on this planet. They were in our position till they decided to take control. Now, I might not agree to what all they tactics of self-preservation, but I do know their history. Now, we can't take a page out of history of people who have been in the same turmoil. Then we go get exactly what is due to us as men. See, I'm not the brother who believe that women are gods and men are not. I'm not the brother who don't believe a man should not run his household. A man should. That's in his DNA. And so if we got a problem in the community, we can talk about the sisters all we want to. But if we the head of our race, then we got to suit up, boot up, and stand up straight, because you know what? Ain't nobody can ride on your back when you standing straight up. So before we start dealing with the other people who don't have our same melatonin in our skin color, we got to clean up our own mess. And yes, it's messy. But if you believe that we all ain't a part of this, if you believe that we all are not responsible for this, then Lord have mercy on our souls. And I'm not speaking of the Bible. I'm speaking of the laws of our ancestors who did more with less than we ever did.
Can I respond to that?
Brother BlackRam?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead. Pull
Yeah.
the trigger.
Brother Jay, you're a beautiful brother, man. And I really see that you have a heart for your people. And to that, much respect, and I appreciate, dear brother. My thing is, my perspective is that many brothers are tired, Brother Jay. When a man comes to you and says, hey, I would like to start a family, and you look at his options, you have the hood thought who slept with the whole community and has multiple children, or you have the so-called strong, independent, educated sister with all they have in common. I'm sorry, not sister. I don't refer to them as sisters. I'll take that back. But so-called sister. And although one may have children and have been thoughted around, the other one has been thoughted around and not have children, and the other one may be educated, the attitude is the same. Worship me, follow me. And many brothers are tired of that stinking attitude. And then you say a man should stand up to such a situation. But then the man stands up to such a situation. She calls the police on him. He loses his job and goes to jail. How do I his attack dog to be his lady and his woman? You work on a job and she's going to go back to HR and make lies up about you and spy on you for that European, call the police on you with that European. So we have a group of females that are, not only do they not respect us, but they've made themselves our adversaries. Now, I don't know how much you date, Brother Jay, or if you've been out on the dating sites and in a dating pool lately, whether it's in the field or on the dating sites, but these women are almost impossible to deal with from a man who has standards, demands to be the head of household, demands respect as a man. These women will buck against that at every turn. And most men, we have to fight this system. We have to fight this European. We don't want to in turn come home, brother, and have to fight with our wives and prove ourselves to our wives too. We don't want to sleep with our enemies. So when you come home, you want to come home to a warm meal, a resting place. You want to come home to solace. You want to come home to some love, some respect, some understanding, not to an adversary. And this woman has set herself up as our adversary. Even the thug that she loves, she calls the police on him. She cheats on him with the other thug. She stabs him up. She fights with him. She's completely rebellious. Now, how much lifetime does a man have to try to go and straighten that situation out. A situation that she doesn't even want to be straightened out. These women are saying this nowadays, brother. And again, I don't know how often you've been online or on the dating sites or even in the field. These women are demanding your submission now. They're demanding your money and your submission in exchange for absolutely nothing. And that's the deal we just don't want to take. So I'm not sitting here just saying this because, as many people claim, I have a hatred for black women. I don't hate anyone. I don't hate anyone.
And I can see that, my brother. I can see that. Mm-hmm. What I'm just saying is, I'm trying to get to North Carolina, Charlotte, Queen City. You trying to get there too. You just take the 40 and I take the 20. We both trying to get to a better place. I do understand and I agree along with everything you just said, because 2020, I'm out of here. I'm going back where it began. I understand even when I was coming up as a black child that they say it was only two free people on United States of America. That was a white man and a black woman. But you got to understand why the black woman's been put in the position she's been put in. The white man couldn't defeat us heads up. He couldn't. But he can use what make us weak to defeat us by the time we're so weak, we can't even fight back with him. So I do agree. There's got to be some rebalance in our community. And you say, how long should we put up with it? As long as it takes for our race to survive.
But is it survival?
We can't. It is about survival, my brother.
No. I'm asking, is having your woman call the police on you, is having your woman cheat on you, is having a woman that has children by other men, is having a woman that you have to fight with, is that surviving?
I understand the symptoms.
Let me ask you.
I know that. Okay, I'm going to answer your question. Okay. I understand the symptoms. You just don't understand the counsel. You're dealing with the symptoms. And see, that's the problem. We always start sometime the game at halftime. So if a coach starts a game at halftime and he didn't see what happened in the first two quarters, when he goes back in that locker room, he's going to give the wrong kind of information to go out there to defeat that team. What we got to do is be very sensitive to how this shaped itself. Now, you got some people in the chat room right now saying, this is why we're in the shape it is. You might be right and you might be wrong, because if y'all don't know anything, we didn't teach you a damn thing. And we have to take the responsibility for that for old people. If young people don't know how to turn right, we didn't teach you how to turn right. And even if we taught you and you didn't learn, we wasn't the best communicator of teaching you that. Someone else should have picked up that torch. So what I'm saying is, brother, black people ain't going nowhere. Regardless of what we might think in our condition in our community, we ain't going nowhere. So either we go straighten it up or we go fight for the next 40, 50 years against each other. Instead of saying to ourselves, we go hold them women responsible. We go hold the Pookie and the Ray Rays for going in our community, giving 5 and 6 different children with 5 and 6 different mothers. We go hold that guy responsible too. But let's just be real, my brother. This work is hard. It ain't for every man. You got to understand that. Not every man grows up to be a plumber. Not every man grows up to be a carpenter. Not every man grows up to be a mechanical engineer like Brother X. But we got to take the glass of water we got. If it's half filled, then we got to make sure we're trying to fill it back up versus making that water disappear.
Brother BlackRam?
I understand completely what you're saying. And what you're saying is exactly what I meant when I said brothers are waking up and we are refusing to sacrifice ourselves for the sake of women or for the sake of community. It may sound harsh. It may seem insensitive and uncaring. It may sound selfish, but that's where we at today, because us men, we don't have enough lifetime to try to go and fix a broken woman in a broken system. that this woman chose. She chose in the 1960s the Welfare Act and the feminism agenda. She chose that. She broke it. She's the one who said, I don't need no man. I'm going to be strong and independent. And she's the one who kicked her man out. She's the one who said, I don't want a family. And the community is broken beyond repair. And many of us are not going to spend our lifetimes and use our lives as a sacrifice for hers and clean up her mess. So many brothers today, brothers that listen to my channel and channels like mine, we're saying we tried, we failed, we're moving on.
But brother, let me ask you a question just before you finish that statement.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand with the system of welfare in 1960s? There was welfare way before that, and it was invented to keep the family together. It's only when it came in our community that they moved the goalposts. So you got to understand, you as a father, and you saying right now, I can save the mother. Now it's on your decision. I can save the mother, or I can save the children and myself. I don't have any other options. What lies? This is the choice that the women had in the 60s. Because when it was for white people, they said, we want to keep the family together. We know you're having hard times. You don't have to get rid of the man. But in the 60s, when they gave it to us, when we have the right to get welfare, they said you could not have a man in the household. Do you not see this, the art of war?
Absolutely. It's by design.
It's by design. So you got to understand the condition of her making these decisions. I'm not making excuses for her, but you got to understand the conditions.
Absolutely. But
and when we understand the conditions that we are at war, then we got to understand the strategy of the people who are at war with us. And so we have some great examples. I'm saying hooray to the mothers and fathers who are raising their children and they're not having children from 5 and 6 different men. Hooray. Them the ones should be the examples of the Black community. I am saying that. But I am saying this too, my brother. When you go to the emergency room and you got your little pinky cut, they don't see you before they see the person who's got a heart attack. Why? Because the one who has a heart attack is emergency. Yours can wait. Our community is in emergency. And so I understand where you and I might side on the same side of the field about our condition with our women. But we are in emergency now. We got to repair some stuff with our children first. That's our goal, and especially our male children. Our male children been attacked for the last 40 years from female talk shows, from Oprah to Sally, Jezreel, Morris Poor, and all the rest of them. They're not our friends, my brother. They've been trying to feminize the male, Black males for the last 40 years hard. I'm not saying they didn't start before that, but that's their agenda. They got a case in Supreme Court right now trying to make pedophilia a disease where they can use it same as the LBGQDEXZ and everything else. I do understand these strategies. But when they strategize, my brother, they playing chess. A lot of us still playing checkers. I play checkers when people playing checkers. Yes, the white did move first, but that don't guarantee them a win. We got to stick in. This is hard work. This ain't no easy work. And for brothers like you are inspiring sisters not to make bad decisions by your tone, the way you say things. And I agree along with you in that. We need every strategy we can get and use to clean up our community. And don't you believe we ain't all dirty in this. We are, men and women. We are all dirty in this. Ain't none of us clean, man. Our ancestors looking at us right now, appalled that they did so much with less than we got so much and we don't do nothing but bellyache.
I hear you. I hear you.
Well, do you think, because me and Brother Black Ram, we spoke about this earlier, OG J Speed, do you think that we often, when it comes to men, we categorize the actions and responsibilities of men, but women, we contextualize the actions and consequences, and we contextualize the situations of women. We contextualize the actions of women. We contextualize whatever situation or consequences that a woman faces now. And likewise with men, we want to categorize. Do we are we are we in danger of continuing to do that by, saying, well, us men, we gotta go ahead and we gotta, make sure A, B, and C doesn't fail. We got to make sure D, E, and F doesn't fail, because quite frankly, we have to realize that some of this stuff is going to fall to the wayside. Not everybody's going to get on the boat. I mean, some people are going to miss the train. Some people are going to miss the plane. Some people are going to miss the automobile. So if we focus on that, if we realize that some people are going to miss the train, if we're going to try to save these people who we already know. Okay, I'm not trying to speculate on who's going to get on the train and who's not, but if we know these people are going to miss the train, should we be wasting time trying to get them on the train when we know they're already going to miss it?
Well, one thing I do know, men been put on a black men been put on the microscope by everybody, every race, even myself. And when you get comfortable of blaming a sector of your race, it becomes very easy. Become very easy for women to say what they said about us. It came to be very easy. They had great support systems to spur that kind of mindset. But what I am saying, I'm glad the brothers are speaking on the other half, because this is the first time, other than rap, the women been put under the microscope. And we know what happens when you put something under the microscope. You get to see all good and bad. And that's what I am so proud of this new generation more than anything from the black male. But at some point of time, my brother, we're going to have to bring this thing back into balance. After you say what you got to say, after you say the problems you having with black women, after you saying you have problems with the black women having babies from 5 and 6 different parents, after all that conversation is over, then, man, we got to sit down and say kumbaya and have some kind of prayer meet and come up with some solution. Because this world war of words is not getting us anywhere. It's making us hate each other for nothing. And when I say nothing, I don't mean we don't have a mercy in our community, but what I am saying, you know as well as I know, Mr. X, you can have a car right there in front of your house and just purchase it, and you go out to start it up, and it won't start. You can spend the next 40 years shaking your head, talking about how bad that car is, how bad the car company put that car together. Or you can go out there, raise the hood, and be smart enough to start it up yourself, or get an expert to come in there and help you with it. Now, you can choose what side of the street you want to approach that problem with. Yes, I am a brother who understands what's going on in our community. I'm out there. I'm on front line. Yes, there's enough blame to go around for everyone. But when the blame is all gone and done, who go get the cancer out? Brothers like me, brothers like you, and brothers like BlackRam313. I got 313. BlackRam313. I'm not saying your strategy is wrong. What I'm saying is whatever strategy we use to get our community back in balance again, man, and it can happen. To change your condition, the only thing you have to do is change your mind. But the greatest thing we can do for each other is check the man and the woman out in the mirror. Because most of the time, that's where the problems come up. You clean yourself up. Become that example that you want your community to. You control things when you control yourself. Bickering, cussing people out, and everything else don't change. And I remember when I loaded 25 brothers on the plane when the uprising was here in 1992. And some of them same brothers could have had problems killing people in the neighborhood, could have had problems this and that, this and that. And we can just left them brothers to the wayside where the military came in here and killed them. We loaded them up and sent them to Chicago and let them talk to the minister. They came back with a different attitude. And from that point on, you have never, ever seen the killing that you were seeing in California from the 30s. And I'm not just saying the nation did. I'm saying Jim Brown. I'm saying there was a lot of brothers out there who was putting in the work. We can choose to complain if we want to, brother, but it's a lot of work out there for us. And the only thing we got to do for the ones who can do it, do it. The ones who want to support the two-parent and make them the hero, which they should be the hero, do it, man, because we need all of ourselves. I don't worry about hoes, my brother. One reason I don't worry about horn and all that kind of stuff, because you can label a woman with that, but you know what? You go out there and you poke your things in there. A woman is not horn with herself. She horn with other brothers. And so if you believe that you ever gonna be higher than your woman, as far as the reflection of your neighborhood, I'm gonna give you a little story. And it ain't gonna be nothing about 15 seconds. You go in a neighborhood where women are loose, I'm gonna show you a real fucked up neighborhood. But you go in a neighborhood where women are on a job trying to take care of their things, and even though you got bad men in the neighborhood, that neighborhood is a little balanced. Get a brother and fight. You take 5 or 6 brothers, try to break that brother. A woman can come in with a soft voice and break them 2 brothers up. What I'm trying to say is we have a nature inside of us. We refuse to choose to tune into it and know what our real power. Nelson Mandela said when he got out of jail, he did his first interview with Carl Nelson, who works for WOL 1450 out of Washington, D.C. Nelson Mandela said, if black people only know the power they have, it wouldn't even be a question or a conversation.
Well, I'm about to wrap this up, so everybody give their final death threats, launch their last salvo, shout out to channel, all that good stuff. I think, but yeah, BlackRam, he's still here. You want to go ahead, shout out to channel OGJ Speed before we wrap this thing up and peel out of here?
Yes, sir. Well, y'all know this is not really one of my topics. I'm just passionate about my community. I speak on health on men and women. I'm 61 years old and got a body like a 21-year-old, and I ain't nothing to brag about, but I had to change my condition and the way I did things and eat things. That's what my channel is all about. I love you brothers who may have different opinion than me, because I like to get in it and chalk it up. If I can't do but one thing to make you think of something in a different way, I ain't trying to change your mind, but I'm just trying to make you look at the whole picture. And sometimes you didn't get focused in before I said something. Look, I'm a baby. I don't have all the answers to our solution. I'm a baby. I was part of the problem who didn't teach the younger generation, because I come from that old school. And I do take responsibility of that as an older man. But what I'm saying is, I'm spending my time and I'm out there. I'm just not chalking this up. I'm out there in my community. I'm talking to young brothers. I'm talking to young sisters. Because in the end, my brothers and sisters, you'll find out we only got each other. And that's all I had to say.
All right, brother BlackRam. Any closing thoughts before we peel out?
Yeah, brother X. Salute to you, brother J Speed, man. I appreciate your insight, and subscribe to your channel. I'm gonna check out what you're doing. And of course, brother X, as always, you know I got to come on here at least every couple of months and chop it up with you,
Oh
man.
yeah, man. You know you're my brother, man. You're welcome here anytime, brother BlackRam.
Appreciate that, man. I make it my business. You know, I don't come on often, but I try to make it my business, man, and not let no more than a couple of months come on past before I jump on here, man. So as always, I thank you for having me, man. I just appreciate the conversation. Well, I appreciate being able to chop it up with you, brother.
Yeah, man, I got to get on down there, man, and jump on and talk some shit and make all your fans mad at me and shit. They'd be like, "You got that goddamn X on? Don't bring that thing. Don't bring X ass down here, no
know,
damn
right?
boy. God damn it."
For
But
sure.
yeah, man, I appreciate you, brother, man. You know you're my brother, man. You're my family, man. I mean, me and you have been dealing for a while, man, and it's always an honor and a pleasure when you come through, brother. Your wisdom is unmatched, man, and your consistency, man, is impeccable, man. And I salute you, brother.
Salute to you as well, brother. Appreciate you.
All right.
And the same to you, my brother. I respect you, and I love that we had this conversation. And I will whoever subscribed to my channel, I always subscribe to theirs. I don't care who they are, because I look at all of us having a hand in this to bring our community up.
Well, me, I'm just going to say this. I know tonight we talked about the quote unquote deal, the package deal, and all that it encompasses. It encompasses a lot. And as me and Brother BlackRam spoke of early on in the stream, it's probably more in the package than you expect. You know, it's sort of like one of those things, you know, that you whine, you know, to go don't don't poop, and like 10 people pop out of that motherfucker. So I just want you brothers to understand that when you deal with this so-called package, I mean, we talked about society today as well with the OG, and we talk about Black society and what Black society needs. But I also think that Black society needs some of this shit to be headed off at the pass. And oftentimes, when you find yourself inside of one of these quote unquote deals, you only exasperate and make a horrible problem even more horrible. And I'm a true believer that if we had less of that, we may have less problems. If we had less people co-signing dysfunction, we may have less problems. If we had less people co-signing bad acts, we would have less problems. If we had less people co-signing bad behavior, if we had less people co-signing ill-advised behavior, I think we would have less problems. That's just me. Now, you brothers can get on out there and get all the package deals you want. Okay? Get all the ones you want. But don't be surprised that when you open those packages, there's a bunch of shit in there that you didn't expect. My advice to you, again, is when you come across that package, not only should you not be afraid to say no to it, you should hurry up and pull out your rubber stamp and stamp it. Return to sender. But anyway, I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Good show tonight. BlackRam313 never freaking never disappoints, never does. Thanks to the OG J Speed coming in on the last hour. Good stuff, good stuff. What I want y'all to do, I want y'all to get on down to the Prophet of Thought series on Facebook. That's Prophet of Thought one word series on Facebook. That's our main page. It's a community page. Go ahead, like the page, share the page, follow the page. There's always some good stuff going on down there. Plus, you can always find out what's going on with old X down there too. Actually, you can leave me a message. You can drop old X a line. I'm guaranteed to get back to you within 24 and 168 hours. Guaranteed. Also, while you're on Facebook, get on down to the Proper Thought Series fan group page. That's the Proper Thought Series fan group page. It's been revamped because people have been coming in the group doing crazy shit. Now, let me tell you, Negroes, something. Let me tell you something. You come up in the group and you're doing crazy shit, sending pictures of your genitals and all this kind of nonsense. You're getting kicked out. That's what's going to happen. All right. My admin is going to kick you out. So don't come in there with the dumb shit. It's a very stringent group. Trust me. My shit gets blocked. And I am, and I'm supposedly the Proper Thought Series platform. My shit will get held for review. So don't come down there putting these crazy pictures. You girls, quit sending them damn pictures in there with your ass out, because that's not what the group is about. You're going to get kicked out. You are. I'm just saying. So don't do it. But get on down there, join the group, request to be a member. You guaranteed to get in. If you're somebody that I'm cool with and I'm aligned with and you can't get in, just drop me a line. I'll make sure you get in there. I'll talk to my admins, make sure you get up in there. All right. Just don't be coming up in there with no stupid shit, because it's been cleaned up. A lot of the bullshit's been swept out, and they ain't playing no games down there, y'all. Like I said, even my shit gets blocked. I'm telling you. But anyway, check us out down there. Come on, join down, because we're trying to get the numbers back up. We was up to like 3,000, but we had to kick a lot of people out for dumb shit. So now we at like 1,200. So we need to get those numbers back up. So get on down there and check out the Proper Thought Series fan group page. All right. Also, check us out on WhatsApp and Instagram. That's Proper Thought. Leave out the series on Instagram. Follow us on Instagram. You guarantee to get a follow back. Also, get on down to Twitter. The Twitter handle is at T.P.O.T Media on Twitter. That's at T.P.O.T Media on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter, because if you don't, I will haunt your old mama in her dreams tonight. Once again, I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Moderators in the chat, the people in the chat, and also, most importantly, I want to thank you for showing up tonight, spending some time with us and watching us. It is appreciate it. Once again, I want to thank the OG J Speed and my guest of honor, BlackRam313, because
this is therapeutic, man.
Yes, sir.
So with that, I will leave you with 3 words, like I always do. Open your mind. The Prophet of Thought. Peace, folks.
All right, brother X. Peace, brother.
My man.
You know. The Prophet of Thought. 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 The Prophet The prophet of God. Prophet of thought. Open your mind, 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 open your mind.
Only from T.P.O.T. Open your minds.